Hello. Can you hear me? It's been a while. It's been a while. Can you hear me, folks? Fantastic. I hope you are doing well. Happy New Year, everyone. It's been a mega long time. I know. I was very busy. There's been a lot of changes happening in the Art Nest for the better. We got a full team. And basically, we transitioned to me being solo in pajamas running a mentorship to being 7 people now, seeing things bigger. So that's why I've been a bit busy in the last month. But now that a lot of stuff is done by people way better than me, I will be able to get back into content creation. And trust me, I have a crap ton of stuff planned to you. I would like to do at least a stream once a week. I would like to release some videos. I have a fantastic interview with Gabriel Indenhouse. I'm sorry if I butcher your name, buddy. From Mood Visuals, coming probably that weekend. You're going to like it. More podcasts coming. And I want to release regular videos similar to the when I'm doing the exposés live, but offline sometimes. And little teaser, just to be a bit spicy. The first video I'm going to release is my thesis for 2026 regarding AI and art. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be, I think, interesting. And I'm pretty sure you're going to like it a lot. It's going to be my opinion about the situation, totally depassionated. It's going to be pretty interesting. But today, folks, we have a problem. We have a problem because I'm supposed to do portfolio reviews, and let me explain to you what happened in the last days. We got so many people who joined, probably over 100 people who joined, just because I made one announcement on LinkedIn regarding the portfolio reviews. And we got roughly 70 applications for the portfolio review. So that's a lot. And I have good news and I have bad news regarding that. As always, I'm selecting the portfolios that are the most interesting, and I've been able to go up to there. So all the people below that, I have not reviewed your work yet. That's the bad news. The good news is that there are two good news. Is that first, we have 3 hours in front of us today, and I'm going to review 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 portfolios today. So that's going to be very intense. And better, I'm going to do a second portfolio review session tomorrow to finish that. Sounds fair for you, folks? So if you have not been reviewed there today, do not feel sad. As always, it's part of the game. I have to select the portfolios that are quote-unquote interesting to review. And by interesting to review, it's just that if I just criticize the fundamentals, it can be valuable, but it's not where the big meat is. I'm going to talk a bit about the fundamentals, of course, but I prefer to talk design, production stuff. You know what I'm doing overall. So for some people who are still a bit early on their journey, you will still learn a lot. You will have a lot of insight. And the fundamentals, little spoiler alert, I'm releasing the preparatory module on the 12th of February again. There's going to be a ton of stuff added to it, an event feedback for you for several weeks, a little challenge to gain some prizes and things like that. It's going to be big, but let's not talk too much about that. Let's dive directly into the portfolio reviews because there's a crap ton of stuff to review. And I'm going to be a bit exhausted at some point. Shit, and I see even more stuff right there. Oh my God, I still have more to do. So let me start, and I don't remember at all about the order. So let me open up Discord and let me start reviewing the stuff. There was so much things. Whoop, 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 whoop. I put a little emoji on some of them. So just a reminder, I know that Danny, you posted before I reminded the rules, but they are pinned there and they were in the announcement. Follow the rules to submit your work. It's not to be pesky with you. It's not to create friction. It's to have context about who you are, what you are trying to achieve, and being able to orient my feedback better. Someone who wants to aim at realistic studios does not need the same feedback as someone who wants to do stylized stuff and vice versa. So please help me help you by doing that. So graduating in 2023 from University DRB in BA Animation Computer Modeling, my focus is only character design. I don't really know the studio you are aiming at, but I see that I have that portfolio open, so I'm going to review it. It's going to be a quick review for you. There are several questions, and you see them normally at the top of my screen right there. Let me show a bit of black right there so you can see it properly. The questions are as follows. What are the studios that you are aiming at? Your portfolio and your work needs to be relevant with that and look like something that could be done by that studio. Can you offer drastically different choices in your design to prove you can design efficiently? Can you help the 3D team do their job without them guessing? We talked about that several times in the Art Nest. Our job as concept artists is to help the 3D team produce or design without guesswork, and that's where we can save a lot of time and money to the studio. And little additions compared to the previous reviews, because that's the focus that we got that year on the artness, and the big addition, thanks to Axel, mostly Axel Pommier. Shout out to you. Are you showing gameplay and money-making opportunities in your work? And I put in parentheses, fundamentals and paging, because this is a given. You want good fundamentals, flawless fundamentals, and you want decent paging because it's a way of respecting your work. With that being said, let's get started. You're going to notice a little meta note right there. That's something I've been added to the preparatory module and the mentorship also. And I'm going to tease some little stuff used a bit as a support for today's review. This way you get a bit of a glimpse and you get some little previews. Little disclaimer, all of that is for educational purpose, and all the artwork are the property of their respective artists. Let's go. So, Danny, my first question is which studio you are aiming at. Right now, I don't really know. It looks like some modern stuff, so I would say things like Blade Runner, Cyberpunk, but I'm not sure. And it's important to ask yourself, okay, what are those studios in order to have content, color palette, subject, and such that are matching that. Let's say you tell, I don't know if you are here, Danny, in the chat. If you are here, feel free to manifest yourself and mention the thing. The chat should be mostly almost real time, maybe 5 or 6 second delay, but it should be good. Right now, if you tell me, let's say, oh, perfect. Can you tell me, Danny, which studios you are aiming at and which type of production you are aiming at? Quickly. As you are saying that, I'm going to mention the production-oriented stuff. So right now, the variations, they are not very drastic. You want drastically different stuff. Right here, this is mostly costume design. You see, you have the same body shape, the same proportion, the same character, but it's just the costume that changes and it kind of follows the anatomy. What I would advise you to do is to start very broad. Right there, it's kind of better. Already different poses, different costume. You can go further with different body shapes, different proportions, different attitude, different ethnicities, different haircuts. Right now, we are already in this kind of micro changes. You want to be extremely broad at the beginning. Let me show you an example. Let's pick Michael, for example, former mentee. And Michael, if you watched the video, you didn't message us to tell us you got hired on that studio. But his work is fantastic with those things. I'm showing them often in reviews and application for the mentorship for character people, but let's remove the rendering. Let's imagine those are sketches. Right there to the client, you are telling, hey, I'm comfortable with the fundamentals. I know different anatomy, different posing. I can do different costume. I can do different faces, different ethnicities, different personality, different everything. I'm comfortable with that. And I'm comfortable at giving you choice. So if, let's say, this one is validated and those two are still good, those are happy accident and they will be recycled somewhere else. And so you save time overall. You're aiming at Aryan Studio, Santa Monica, CDPR. Okay, so I'm assuming Aryan Studio for Dishonored, CDPR for Cyberpunk, Sony Santa Monica for some modern stuff. Okay, kind of makes sense. But you will need variety. That character looks a bit like Wallace from a Blade Runner, for example, like a bad guy. I showed you I wanted to see these iterations. And the next question you may ask yourself is, okay, once that character is done, you have a turnaround, that's okay. How do you play with the character? What are the abilities? What are the interactions you're going to have? Is it a playable character? Seems to be the mentor of the main character, so seems to be an NPC. Okay, how do you interact with that guy? What is it specific about him? What are the key interactions you're going to have? Does it have abilities in fight? That's the kind of stuff that I would like you to show, because someone will have to show it anyways to the 3D team. It's going to always be better and cheaper for you, the concept artist, to design that, rather than for the 3D artist or heck the VFX artist to have to figure it out on the fly with the restriction of the software. Let me show you an example. Let's pick only different style. I'm sorry, I'm just picking the ones that come to my mind. Those are examples for drastically different sketches, again, with different poses, different proportions, different costume, etc. So it ticks those boxes, but showcasing the main elements the props and the abilities. Key poses right there, abilities, object, props, dynamic poses, spells. Those spells right there, you tell how does it play, and that's where the value is. Okay? If it's an NPC, that's fine. This one feels also like an NPC. It's a bit generic, let's say. When you review your portfolio, and when I do it, little disclaimer, folks, I'm not saying anything to be disrespectful, even though sometimes it sounds potentially a bit blunt. I apologize about that. Okay, let's do that deal, folks. I'm going to do my best to not be blunt, but I want you, when you consider your portfolio, to imagine a cynical art director. What could be the most cynical thing an art director or reviewer could say about your work to break it? Not to dismiss you, not to put you down, not to insult you, but to disqualify your portfolio. And right there, the question I will have is, okay, I see some Rangers right there. I see a black t-shirt. I see black pants right there. Where is the design? And besides the face, all the rest of the costume, how does it differ from the reference and from a Google photo? What I'm asking below that, if I was very cynical, is that an art director could say, I could pick that guy and I could not ask you to do the design, just the face, and the rest could be a Google photo. And you are missing on scoring points by deviating enough from the photos and references and bringing design overall. Does that make sense? I'm going to ask, does that make sense a lot? I'm sorry, it's a language tick I have. Those sketches are nice. The poses are pretty cool. It's a bit hard to read right here, but that's okay for an initial pose. And I like that you focus on the face. The face is clear. We see the personality. I would advise you to also have the same level of care on the hands, what they hold, and a third element that says a bit of storytelling. It's very expressive. I like it. It's what I call the 1-2-3 rule. I say to the mentees all the time, focus on the face, focus on the gameplay, aka the hands, and focus on a third element that gives a bit of flavor to the character. You know how to render, you know how to draw. This is good. I like the color variations right there. It's just that the variations are not drastic enough. Again, right there, it's a bit the same body shape, the same pose. It feels a bit like a mannequin. Try to be drastic, like those. As drastic as possible. Then you will refine your choice. And when the design is validated, once you have settled on that character, that's where you can do costume design. But provide those drastic iterations first and show them first. Okay? That's going to be important. Storyboard, pretty nice. I'm going to focus mostly on concept art. You know how to draw. This is good. This is pretty good. We can talk with that. We can really talk. Little disclaimer, most of the people that I'm picking right there, this is what I deem mentorship ready. Again, as I said at the beginning of the session, I'm picking content where there is enough material for discussion, not just focus on the fundamentals. So it's more valuable for everyone. Do not see that as a discrimination, folks. I just need to protect everyone's time. So yeah, you know to draw. This is great. This is very important to have fundamentals. Be very solid on anatomy. Like right there, those legs, I'm not fully sure about the proportion of the legs compared to that ginormous hoodie. So be careful about that. Those little interactions, this is how you show NPCs. So, someone might argue, but you say it needs to have the 3D team. That's fine. If you have showed some turnarounds for the important characters, then you don't have to show a turnaround for everyone in your portfolio. You have ticked that box. You tell the studio, okay, I get it. I can do that. They know you can do it. NPCs, if you can express them like that, this is very good. You are seeing the personality. Those characters, they have like one line only in the game sometimes. So they have to be very evocative and spark a good influence. Pretty good. Those are some studies, not very interested for concept art. This seems to be older. And this is older. Okay. So pretty good overall. The last thing is I want to see more variety. I want to see more elements of gameplay. And I want to see things that could be monetized, like skins, cosmetics, abilities, things like that. But it's good you are not aiming at the main character, and as a junior, you're rarely going to do the main character. So doing NPCs is great. I would advise you still have one character that could be protagonist material. It's not that you are going to do the protagonist, but it's to show that you think in terms of gameplay and abilities overall. Makes sense? So if I pick Un again, and again, Un is a senior, okay? So it's an unfair comparison. That would be a protagonist material. You understand this character is playable. You see how you will play it. You have abilities, you have weapons, you have gear, you have costumes, you have the spells. This is to show you are aware and to tick those boxes. Very good. Next person, Python. Let me check on Discord what you wrote. Oh my God, I would need a fourth monitor to be able to review everything. So Python, here we go. Recently graduated in a BFA in illustration, and I'm pursuing an MFA, so master, I guess, in fine art, in game development, both from Savannah College Art of Design. I started my study with the aim of working in splash art, but I recently pivoted towards environment art and concept art, which is the primary area I'm looking to improve. So before keeping on reading splash art, so let's pick League of Legends splash art. About splash art, folks, I hope I do not shatter dreams. Let's pick that picture. This is a picture that costs 6 to 7 figures to make. Let me explain why. It's not that much paying the artist. They're going to be paid a hefty amount of money. It's rarely one artist. It's sometimes several artists. But it's a picture that costs 7 figures because generally it's used as a marketing material to promote a skin, a new hero, or anything that is going to be then monetized. You promote the new hero, the way you're going to make money is with skins. You promote that skin, you're going to make money with it. And leagues, they are making hundreds of thousands, if not millions, with every single cosmetics they release. And there is no way they give a 6 to 7 figure responsibility to someone who starts. So splash art, this is given to the most senior of people, and generally it's a team of people dealing with that. So to anyone that is a junior who wants to start with splash art, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Unfortunately, it's not to say it's impossible to eventually arrive at splash art. It's just not yet. So start with illustration, do proper concept art. In addition to your concept art, you do a cool character art to show you have the potential. And gradually, over time, with experience in your career, you will be granted the possibility to arrive at splash art. A lot to work on indie or at larger studio. I enjoy a fantasy project aimed towards a young adult and adult audience and things like Fortnite Star Stable Online. Respective Epic Games Star Stable Entertainment would be a dream for me. So fantasy, slightly stylized, careful about working with indies because sometimes they don't really have money and they don't really hire. And generally, the smaller the studio, the more generalist you will have to be. The bigger the studio, the more specialist you will tend to be. It's not always true, but it's most likely the case. Like 6 more vodka. Okay. Yeah, someone say like 6 more vodka. Yes, 6 more vodka. They are a bunch of mega big rock stars. So naturally, they are doing the splash art. I like what I'm seeing here. And it's rare that we see things in that order because generally people, they min-max the technique and then they completely forgo design. Right there, it's kind of the opposite. Technique will still have to be improved a bit. I will focus mostly on technique, but I like what I'm seeing because I see a turnaround. I see key poses. I see call-out sheets for the environment. I see things that are readable. I see explanation right there. I see props. So in terms of intention of what to put in a portfolio, I really like where it's going. What I would like to see before diving into technique is more iterations. Right there, we just have a color swap with a few building differences right there. Again, I want to see drastic stuff. I showed the work of Un, for example. I'm sorry, I'm going to be a bit redundant with the examples today. Un, Michael, for environment, for example, let's pick Gael Garder. Let's pick Evan McKenzie. I'm going to have a video testimonial with him, by the way. He released his portfolio, and the next day, he got recommended to West Studio and got an offer there. So it's going to be a very interesting little interview of him. It's going to be released next week, by the way. But for environment, we're going to dive deeper on that work, but I want to show you the iterations. You want drastically different topologies that have nothing in common with a lot of volumes, etc. Okay? I advise you to look at the FZD School video, FZD School 108, I think. No, 109. I'm sorry, I cannot open YouTube on the computer because I have that thing called Focus. But look at that video, episode 109, design breakdown, to help you with environment design. You see if I open, boom, blocked, unfortunately. And it's going to explain to you that this environment is a bit too simple, it's a bit too blocky, it's a bit hard to navigate. So to me, it's mostly about technique now. So let me give you a review about technique. And it's going to be basically working for everyone who are still on their artistic journey to learn technique. The first thing, there are generally 3 to 4 angles regarding technique. First, there are the fundamentals like anatomy, etc. And you see the anatomy is a bit bulky right now. You need the anatomy to be a tad more defined. Careful about the proportion. The legs are very long. The chest is very short, for example. It's a bit round. The perspective right there, it's still very isometric, very blocky. You will have to extrude and bring more complexity. Again, you look at the work of Gael right there. I'm sorry to make those unfair comparisons. I'm comparing people with different level, but it's to show you the direction. You see there's a lot of extrusion. It does not feel blocky anymore. There's a lot of volumes everywhere. Even on those buildings, you see. It's some sketchy, so it's not going to be perfect, but you see little volumes here and there. Even on those ones right there. Extrusions, three-dimensionality, etc. More complexities. And with the anatomy, it's a bit soft, etc. So it's just about sharpening things and honing those skills with studies. There's no miracle thing. That's the fundamental part. The rendering part, what I tend to say for rendering is that I tend to dislike soft light and shadows. It tends to get things to feel a bit fake, a bit plasticky, a bit too soft. And I really prefer sharp lighting like you did on that beast, for example. Sharp lighting or else diffuse lighting. Diffuse lighting is very hard to do while retaining the volume. So that's why I tend to prefer sharp lighting. For example, this is what I call a sharp lighting. It's not binary, there's still a transition, but you can clearly see what's in the light, what's in the shadow, and it helps with the volumes of things. Does that make sense? I don't know if you are there, Python. I hope I'm not butchering your names, by the way, folks. Perfect. So that's the kind of thing. The second thing, so right there you see you have some airbrushy things, and you don't see the folds of the thing, etc. Something that I mentioned in the preparatory module. Let me show you. It's a little teaser for the preparatory module. In rendering, is that there's often something that I called the printed spandex effect. No, it's in design. Mistakes for character. Here we go. So this is about posing, rigging. This is the printed spandex effect. And this is, I don't know who made that picture. It's nice for animation, but for concept art for games, it's a bit more difficult because you see the volumes right there, they are kind of sticking to the chassis of the character. As if it was a mannequin and you project the texture on it rather than having some clear volumes and extrusion overlapping on top. I love that reference from, where is it? From this artist. Oh my God, I completely forgot their name. Great Korean artist. I'm sorry, buddy, I forgot your name. I love your work. But I like the way that this armor is kind of floating on top and you feel those extrusion. And the problem right there is that the costume is a bit too close to the anatomy and we don't have wrinkles and folds. The next thing is about materials. materials are not really separated. The metal feels like brushed aluminum right there. It should be way more reflective. The hair should be silky. The velvet should feel velvety. Some parts should feel matte. That handle feels like it's made of wood. So it's really important to have those separation of materials. Again, right there, this is an example where you sense the metal versus the skin. It's a bit oily. The hair is silky, a bit glossy. There's some rough stuff. There's some leathery thing. You need to separate the material to avoid this kind of flat looking, this kind of flat rendering overall. And it's going to give texture information. Even the fur of the beast, you want a bit of glossiness. I'm looking at my cat right now. I know that Maine Coons, they tend to have a slightly oily coat. It makes the fur very glossy right now. Makes sense even on my skin. Where is the light coming from? I don't have the preview of my camera, but on my skin there is a rim light somewhere in that direction. And you see my skin is a bit oily right now, and a bit reflective. That's the kind of stuff you want to show. Kyun Hang Kim. Thank you, Christina. Thank you so much. I'm not done with the Milanote. I'm going to credit any extra sources pretty soon. It's meant for private use, but whatever. Still credits too. So Kyun Han Kim, very good artist. So that's it. So we talked about lighting, material separation, ambient occlusion, and three dimensionality. It's kind of okay. And the next thing, once you have that, is to dive into slightly more complex element, because right there, those are some trees, and kind of similar to what I was saying to the person before, to Danny. A cynical art director would be like, okay, why would I ask a concept artist to do that when I could get a picture on Google and roughly paint over it or change it? So try whenever you can. That's something we say to the mentees, and it's the difficult part of concept art. Go for the hard stuff. Do not go for the quote-unquote simple elements. Go for the hard design. You have to combine things. So for example, right there, what's the influence? I don't really know. Let me give you the example of Jess. I want to scream out loud the crazy work opportunities we manage to help Jess get, but I don't want to jinx it. It's just a matter of a few days. It's great, but I think that's a great example of character design right there, and mixing influences. Of course, you see that work, it screams The Witcher. That's pretty obvious. It kind of goes with what I was saying to Danny before, trying to match the content of the studios and projects you are aiming at. So if you aim at things like Fortnite, etc., study their style, study their content, study the type of things they do, and try to do something similar. Do not do fan art, of course, but you want to do something that could reasonably be part of their product. You see something like that, it could be a character in an extension of The Witcher set in Croatia. Because what is good is that there's a lot of Croatian influence in those things, like those wood carvings, those colors, those patterns, etc. And that's how you mix references to create something that is not a Google picture anymore, but an original design. That's the difficulty, I know, but that's what I would advise you to do. Go for the hard stuff. Those plants, make complex plants. Create a plant that does not exist but still is logical. Let me show you an example. Luca Marcy. I think Luca did some plants. And we also have Axel. I think it's in that one that we did with the supervision of the mighty Axel right there. Plants. Where are those? Here we go. Those ones. Those plants, they are not from a Google reference, but they feel like existing plants. You can sense the inspiration that it has been adjusted and deviated from the reference. If I pick Axel, I think he also has some plants. In that second project, he's going to release the third one soon. It's going to be amazing. Right there. Of course, it's stylized work, but especially because you are doing stylized work, you have to figure out how you would stylize those plants. And for something like Fortnite, it's not exactly the art direction, but it's getting a bit closer right there. See those little things, contaminated mushrooms, etc. That's the kind of stuff you want to stylize in your work. Make sense, Python? All good for you? Yeah, the Korean artist nickname is Tara, exactly. Yeah, Tara Art. Fantastic. Let's move to the next person, Peter. Peter Miller. I've been working in the industry as a graphic designer, marketing artist for games for some time. Yeah, we can sense it's marketing art. With a little visual development experience on top of that, but my career dream has always been to be a full-time concept artist. Currently, I'm trying to pivot my career and break in again as a junior concept artist. I had a little success, but not enough to really be sustainable or at the level I want. I've been watching the free course, and I would love a review. Nice. I hope you are enjoying the free course, buddy. Yeah, typically, that's the kind of stuff with just a little nudge. This is becoming mentorship ready. I'm going to explain why. And for everyone, basically, the preparatory module is what explains that, basically. So I think what my portfolio is mainly missing is mainly more process, more breakdown that is useful for other pipeline. Exactly. But I think I'm a little lost on the best way to show that process, and I've gotten a lot of conflicting advice over the years. I know. And disclaimer, this is my opinion. Opinion is my own. At the Artnest, we have our methodology. I think we proved over years that it's been working for those who follow it, but it's not the only way. Okay? So do not expect someone to give you the absolute Rosetta Stone, the table of 10 commandments of concept art, because everyone is having some sort of biases. There's a video from Daniel McGarry, by the way, called Survivorship Bias in Concept Art that explains that. Like, give me a second, please. Sorry, that little monster was doing a hairball. He has grown so much. Look at that. He was choking on a hairball. Sorry. So, back to it. I've been mainly at environment focus. Think God of War, Last of Us, The Division, or Assassin's Creed. Okay. We're going to address that. We're going to address those references also. I would love to make a video about that. It's a spicy take. Oh no. Come on, buddy. You okay? Give me a second again. Sorry, folks. All right. I'm going to do it with a little monster on my laps. I think he wants a bit of attention too. So previous feedback has received has also mentioned that my composition sense could be more sophisticated, my shape design could be improved, and my work could be more for research. I'm open to any feedback, don't hold back. Okay. So I want to start addressing the goals of a big, trendy, blockbuster project like God of War, Last of Us, The Division, or Assassin's Creed. And not just to you, but everyone who is aiming at that, take what I say with a grain of salt, okay? It's not a judgment of taste. Everyone is entitled to like whatever they want. But you need to understand that those projects, there's a lot of people who are grabbing it as references because it's what has been farming the ArtStation front page. It's been trendy, it's been prestigious. And a lot of people, they might be attracted to it because it's prestigious more than because of the project itself. So my first question is, did you play those games and did you enjoy that? If yes, fine, totally fine. If you have not played those games, my question would be, why are you aiming at those studios? And I'm not questioning that, okay? It's a discussion between you and you, but it's important that you ask yourself why you are chasing those if it's not what you play. By you, I mean not you, Peter, everyone aiming at that. It's the law of supply and demand. And on ArtStation, we have seen 1 billion pictures doing cheap bootleg Last of Us concept art, or cheap God of War, or cheap The Division, or cheap Assassin's Creed. And the reason why is Last of Us and The Division, it tends to be quite easy to do. It's post-apocalyptic. It's very easy to do. You need to ask yourself about market demand. Is there a demand for this type of subject? Viking stuff, it's been a while since we have seen it. We have seen too many in the past, and now the market is a bit fed up with that. Post-apocalyptic stuff, mimicking The Last of Us, we have seen a lot of that too. Everyone is fed up with that. In 2025, it was Asian Souls-like in China or Japan. There's been like at least 25 of those released, mostly from China. And like just following the Black Myth Wukong trend. Like Wu Cheng Fallen Feather, Ghostblade, those kind of thing. Not Ghostblade. Whatever. Phantom Blade, things like that. And the problem is everyone and their mom on ArtStation is doing that. So law of supply and demand, if it's very common and quote unquote easy to do, it's less valuable in the eyes of the market. And even if you were to permeate the market with that, you are easily replaceable by someone who is cheaper than you. So it ends up being a race to the bottom. You are not standing out with those kind of subjects. And you are competing against everyone, even though they don't really get jobs. So the first thing that goes with that idea of design could be more sophisticated and more researched is this kind of stuff. Feng is explaining that in one of his latest video. I don't remember which one. It's one of the latest. I think it's the latest, or the one before building a studio. This kind of stuff is quote unquote easy to make because there's not that much design. It's some planks, some assets you could kit bash almost, and then you cover it in snow. Designing something, I would love to show you the work of Nikita, but it's not released yet. It's going to be in a few days. Let me pick the work. For example, this is how to design. This is how to design because it does not exist as a Google reference, and you have to create something from, not from thin air, but from references. Targeting portfolio, exactly. I think is the video from Thing. Yeah. Yeah, Nikita has been cooking. I want to show that, and I would love to do portfolio breakdowns at some point with what we do. That's some content I would like to do. And Nikita is one of the first in line for portfolio breakdown because there's so many cool stuff. This is complex design. It's a grinding wheel, so it's easy, but the way to decorate it and to make it fit within an architectural style makes it complex. Okay? I would like to get back on the work of Evan because it's another example of complex design. Come on. Roman architecture. You can hardly Google all of that. You have the cliche stuff, but then making something that we don't know how it was, that's complex design right there. Do you understand what I mean? It's back to that cynical art director that could say, hey, I could Google all those things and give it to a 3D artist. I do not really need a concept artist to do that. And that's the pitfall that a lot of aspiring concept artists fall into, is that they go to those things because it's quote unquote the easy stuff to do. And it ends up being easy for everyone. So everyone is doing it. So if you want to stand out, go for the hard stuff. Pick something that is uncommon. But yeah, in the mentorship, week 3, we have that list of topics not to pick, and post-apocalyptic, steampunk, Vikings, samurai, modern military shooter like the Division, it's on our list of no-nos because it's very hard to stand out with that. So sorry for the rant. I hope it doesn't sound personal, but I just wanted to express that to everyone. You are not doing yourself a service, folks, by chasing the trends. Tell yourself when it's trendy, it's too late. And that's part of the video I would like to explain about AI and the point of view I come from. Not regarding AI, but regarding art in general. I come from a slightly antisocial and anti-conformist point of view regarding concept art. Antisocial, by that I mean you are not looking for the approval of others with what you do. You do not want to do consensual stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be commoditized. And you want to be slightly anti-conformist also, in that sense that when everyone does one thing, if you want to stand out, do the opposite. So when everyone and their mom is doing Viking stuff, Last of Us inspired, Division inspired stuff, Wukong inspired stuff, Star Wars fan arts, League of Legends splash art, etc. If you do the same, you're going to become invisible and you're going to be in what is called a red ocean, where everyone is fighting. If you do the opposite, you make something on your own. And this is why, for example, project like Jess stood out so much. Like 560 likes, lot of jobs. Same with Gael, 900 likes. That's because we have never seen this kind of stuff. Even more with St. George right there with Unli. Unli has been crushing it. He's become a mega rock star. I think he's been teaching even at New Age recently. So many job offers. You're gonna see that in his interview. And if you, some of the people who might have booked a call for the mentorship, you see there's a video just after you book the call that is explaining how it works and showing you the proof. I'm showcasing some of the result of Una. You got tons and tons of studios, including Mood, Larian, Plarium, etc. Because this kind of stuff, when is the last time you saw something like that? Everyone in fantasy is mimicking God of War and things like that. And when you go to that old school tropes like this, very Baldur's Gate inspired in some way, now it works. And spoiler alert, nobody did Baldur's Gate inspired concept art because it's hard. You look at Baldur's Gate concept art, it's hard to do. It's hard as fuck. Like this, by Tan Bursi. She's a former schoolmate of mine, by the way. So this is hard. This is hard. That armor is based on nothing. You don't know what it's based off, probably some Art Deco stuff. This is hard to do. But this is where the value is, you know? Something like that, everyone can do something like that. You pick the Temple of Lefandre. Where is it? Let's pick the Grove right here. This is already way harder to do. Does it make sense, that idea of deviating from what is easy and consensual? Is there a danger in being too niche? Of course, you want to be careful. You pick a random myth from a non-Western culture that nobody knows about in the West, it's going to be potentially a bit difficult to sell. But it's a fine line. But I prefer a good niche than something generic. Okay? So sorry for the big tangent and the reality check. And honestly, I see the error, and I don't know if I will be able to review everyone, but whatever. I'm going to do as many reviews as needed. That's, to me, the elephant in the room. And if there was one valuable thing that is the most impactful for you, whether it's as a concept artist or an illustrator, it's this. Okay? It's very important. Victorian era style. It's in my no-no list also. Too many stuff. Too much stuff. It tends to become this kind of Edgar Allan Poe, very gothic style. We have seen a billion of it. Thank you, Bloodborne. And easy to do. Easy to do. If you want, someone can take the notes about the do's and don'ts of subject. We can make a presentation about that. If someone wouldn't mind tagging me in the Discord with that, or reminding it to me after the live, I can make a presentation about that happily. So yeah, anti-social, anti-conformist. That's my that's my thesis. The last one is a bit having like an encyclopedical level of knowledge about the subject you are diving into. With that being said, let's talk about concept art now. And what I see right now is that you have a lot of polished pictures. You have a lot of final pictures. You have a lot of keyframes, key art, cinematic design, illustrative work. And this is very good for marketing art. But something you can ask yourself on any of those pictures is that, and not just you, but everyone doing the keyframe stuff. I know on LinkedIn I've been bashing keyframes a lot, and I'm going to explain why now in just one question. To everyone having a portfolio relatable to what we are seeing right now, ask yourself this. If your goal is to be a concept artist, let's say you have that picture, or just that picture. Oh, you're going to make me lie because of this. Let's pick that one. If you were to give that to the 3D team, let's say you are in an outsourcing studio. You work for the studio, that picture gets somewhat validated and sent to the client. They are not going to reach back asking, hey, we don't understand that thing. So ask yourself, with everything you do for concept art, the package of work you design around one project, if you give it to the 3D team, can the 3D team model, texture, animate, rig, do gameplay, do their job, basically, at converting your idea and your concept into 3D without having to guess anything? If the answer is yes, congratulations, you're on the good way. If the answer is no, this is the first reason you are not getting a job in concept art. Some might argue, yes, but for movies. Yes, but movies, it's very difficult to permeate into right now. I'm almost not doing movie concept art anymore for people in the mentorship. I tend to refuse people who want to do movies because it's very difficult at the moment. You look like at Framestore, there's like 4 concept artists in the entirety of Framestore, so the slots are awfully difficult to get. And I'm not the most suited to talk about that. Daniel McGarry, for example, is more suited. The people from Concept 101 or Framestore are more suited for that. But you need to be excellent at everything. And they have to produce fast, and it's a different pace. But for games, you need to have a good pipeline, because in a movie, you can render the scene. It's going to cost you more if it's badly optimized, but the public is never going to see it. In a game, if it's poorly optimized, the public is going to lag on the computer, and they're going to fucking hate the game. So right now, we don't have the information to model and texture the thing. We have the thing at the end. You have the end result, and I tend to compare that to a box of Legos. See the keyframe as the fancy picture on a box of Lego. It gives you the desire to buy it and to build it. It shows you the final result if you follow the manual and you have the bricks. But if you don't have the bricks or the manuals, you will never reach the final result. On the other hand, if you have the bricks and the manual, it might be a bit more tedious, but you can arrive to the final result anyways. And the bricks and the manuals, those are this. This is the manual right there. You cannot bullshit your way with that because the 3D artist can match the perspective and know exactly how to build that scene. Those different propsies to explain how it looks, how the materials are, how it feels, how it works. Those things. And you might wonder, why is that one not rendered? That's because it's sharing the same materials as this, and this, and this, and this. So basically, you don't have to render that because they have already the materials. They can transpose that. Make sense? So that's for helping the 3D team. And then it's just showing variations. Those different topologies, those drastically different proposals. Again, look at the questions on top. Question on top. Okay. Are you in line with the studios you are aiming at? Somewhat. That's fine. Do you offer choices? No, unfortunately. And for environment, I don't really... This is a bit of a pet peeve of mine, and this is very subjective, okay? I don't like front views for building because we don't know how it looks in perspective. So, and anyone can draw that with the symmetry tool. Drawing them in perspective, like even some sort of fake perspective like this, or this, right there you are flexing your fundamentals. What are the best ways to go to those interior environment design? I've seen people use hand-drawn 2D and 3D. What is the industry standard? There is no industry standard. It's about doing what is the best for you. And I can show you again from the preparatory module the process that I advise the student to do. This is a massive teaser for the preparatory module, folks. Be ready. It's been 6 months that it was not released. What I advise people to do, that's the framework that we tend to do successfully, is, that's the work of Evan, by the way, Evan McKenzie, is you start with a floor plan, then you build a quick 3D base like that, and then you scribble on top. You can do all of that in 3 hours if you are decent. And it requires little to no drawing skills because you fix the perspective. Do not try to nail everything in perspective. Or in 3D. And everything in perspective, it tends to be difficult unless you are Feng Zhu level of perspective. In that case, by all means, be my guest. This is to use the best of both. I've been ranting a lot on YouTube and LinkedIn about maximalists, especially 3D maximalists. Of course, there is big artists like the 1 pixel brush guys that are exceptionally good at 3D. They are not the norm. They are seniors. Some of them, they were architects before, like Piotr Kwiński and such. They are super good at 3D. They can work exclusively in 3D. The common mortal, the beginner, you are not going to be Piotr Kwiński. And trying to be a maximalist of 3D is going to get you to skip the fundamentals. And fundamentals are king. Again, law of supply and demand, anti-social, anti-conformist. When everyone and their mom is skipping the fundamentals to just do 3D and photo bash and all of that, it means that there's more value into drawing. Do you need to be a drawing maximalist and completely be against 3D? No, because 3D can help you save time. So I'm for rationality, and I know we don't have that much all the time in art, at least in the art community. Not everyone, but sometimes rationality leaves the window, by the window. I'm for utilizing the best of drawing and the best of 3D. The 80-20, 80% of the result in 20% of the time, you do it for both. You can arrive to something like that in 3, let's say 6 hours. If you are beginning, you're gonna get to 3 eventually. That's how I advise you to do it. You do it, you get feedback, and then you polish it. Another step. Okay? So that's the kind of stuff, and that's why those things, they are my pet peeve. I don't really like silhouette. What I would advise you to do is you grab those things, you lower the opacity by 50%, and then you start having line drawing on top. Let me explain why. Silhouettes like that, it's good for shapes, but if you show that to a client, the problem is like seeing shapes in the cloud and you have to use your imagination. You ask the clients to use their imagination too. And it defeats the purpose of concept art, especially at the beginning when you have to give a statement about some ideas, or at least give a statement about the main point in your ideas. The rest can still be suggested. That's fine. We don't have to over detail things early, but you have to be clear about your intentions. And right there, you are relying on the art director to fill out the gap for you. And it's going to be seen as a liability for the purpose of environment design. And same with this, of front views. You don't know how it looks in perspective, so it kind of defeats the purpose because the insight on that design is incomplete. So yeah, I prefer showing things in perspective, even though it's harder. But again, love, supply, and demand, anyone can do silhouettes. Doing things like that, not everyone can do it. That's how you stand out. Oh my God, I feel like I have absolutely done an absolute beating out of you, Peter. I hope it doesn't sound too harsh. But it's a fantastic case studies of a very symptomatical case we see all the time for people applying to the mentorship. And a question I always ask to people like that is, okay, do you know how to draw? That's the main criteria for the mentorship now is fundamentals in drawing. The problem, if you skip fundamentals and you rely solely on 3D and tools, is that you're going to spend most of your energy on technique and not on the design, not on the energy. What's the story? What's the storytelling? What's the gameplay, etc.? We have not even talked about that. When you know how to draw, when you know the fundamentals, sure, it's still long to do, it's still tedious to do, it's still a fight with the drawing, but you recover some energy and mental bandwidth to focus on design. That's why I tend to prefer this kind of drawing right there, even though it's simpler. So I like that stylization. It seems that you know how to draw. I see those. There's some 3D base right there. It's okay. That's typically someone who I would say preparatory module right there. Preparatory module, work 3 months on the fundamentals, then mentorship ready, no problem. And your level is going to skyrocket already. And you can still use 3D, you can still use 3D. You swap the camera angle, you have that call out sheet. It's not very hard. Everyone you see there, they have some 3D bases. There's a heavy 3D base right there. That's fine. I'm not dismissing 3D at all. It's just about being reasonable with that and not trying to do everything with it. That's the problem we have with realistic artists. It's very hard today to find realistic artists who know how to draw, in addition to be good at 3D and the modern techniques. Oh my God, I promised myself to not do a beating to people. I hope it was not too violent. Next person. Antonio Chapa. I have seen your work. I wonder if you applied to the mentorship recently. I'm pretty sure I've seen that one. So what's the name? Art Sora. Here we go. I graduated in animation and VFX from Universidad de Monterrey, Mexico. Okay. Passionate about the game industry and concept art, graduating and keep learning through YouTube videos, online courses, and engage on Discord server. Trying to figure out. Right now, I'm freelancing for an indie studio as a character and UI concept artist. Good. But my goal is to land a full-time role as a character concept artist in the game industry. I'd like to work for both indie and bigger studios, especially on a fantasy and sci-fi project. Some of my favorite games are Leagues, Overwatch, Diablo, Apex Legends, Riot Games, Blizzard, Capcom. So, somewhat stylized. Okay. Fantasy and sci-fi is going to be very hard to conciliate within the same portfolio. Same with indie and big studio. It's very hard to conciliate within the same portfolio. So pick a choice, and I will always advise to aim at big studios because it's better to aim very high and fail slightly lower than aim low and reach it. Obviously, it's very... this is junior right there. So right there, it's mostly, to me, a stylization issue where we are kind of banging in the middle between realistic proportions and shapes. Like right there, for example, this is more leaning towards the realistic than stylized for me. What are you doing, buddy? I wish I had the kitty cam, but my other cat ate the cable of the webcam. I need to buy another one. But yeah, right there, this looks more realistic to me. So the first thing to do is a massive stylistic study of the studios you are aiming at. Right there, it's already a bit more in line with Overwatch, at least the face, etc. But this is good right here. I like this. This is valuable for concept art, reload mechanics, gun. This is good right there. Turn around with the revs, explain how things work. This is heading in the right direction right there. It's just that it's too grounded. I would like to see more crazy skins, you know? Skins are very junior friendly, by the way. It's good when you are aiming at hero-based games like Leagues, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals to do a lot of cosmetics because it's what juniors are supposed to do. And in addition, it's what makes money. So you are telling to studio, hey, I understand my role as a junior. I won't try to step on the toes of seniors' work like splash art, etc. And I'm also very good at what makes you money. So this is nice. Again, right there, this is more heading towards realistic than stylized to me. So this is mostly a stylistic thing. Oh, Stefan Thoma, hello, buddy. I just edited the interview we did together. Put some of your work. I'm going to release it soon. Hope you are doing well, buddy. And this one, it's very busy. Look at the detailed distribution on heroes. Let's pick Overwatch, for example. Sombra. Overwatch concept art. You don't want the characters to be too busy. It gets back to this kind of 1-2-3 rule I was mentioning. Let me open up Photoshop. I love that concept of Sombra. I think that's such a great case study for concept art, or to make an efficient turnaround, or to recycle the main pose into a turnaround, etc. This is advanced stuff, okay? But you see the level of detail? 1-2-3 rule. Face, with those details, the makeup, the little dot right there, the hair. Okay, that part is relatively okay. Then the second part that is busy is going to be the hands and gameplay, because this is how we play. And the last part that is going to be very detailed is the little transposer. One may ask why. That's because it shows the gameplay and you want to highlight the key importance. All the rest, outside of those boxes, is not too detailed. You have a bit of texture right there, but it's very stealthy overall. While right there, it's busy everywhere. The face, chest, you need to let your design breathe a bit more overall. Variations, I'm not a fan of color swaps. I explained that recently in a LinkedIn post, by the way. You can search for it on LinkedIn. I posted like a day or two ago with the 3 different Spider-Mans. But it's creating redundancies. I would prefer drastically different costumes and body shapes and everything. And right there, you see it's a bit the game of the 7 differences. It's the same base with more or less stuff. So you want to be drastic. This is better already, but this is too busy. There are too much stuff everywhere. You have to tame the level of detail and ask yourself, okay, what is the personality of the character? How does it play? And what is it specific about that character that I can explain on one little area? 1-2-3 rule all the time. Okay? This is more in line with leagues already. But check the codes. For example, there is some sort of gradient towards the bottom to not be distracted there, and more light on the face and the gameplay, and contrast on the element that you have to read. In that case, the arms to understand the moveset. I appreciate that you have the VFX and all of that. You have been studying League's concept art. You can see. Now, mostly it's stylistic and technique. Very similar to the person I mentioned before. So I'm not going to reiterate about lighting that is a bit flat and non-directional right now. So make it sharper, have some ambient occlusion, it's a bit flat, have some material separation, and we should be good. Here we go. That cat is hijacking the session. So, next person. I have a few right here. I'm going to do them. Lux Logan, who got the preparatory module and we can sense because it's the subject of the preparatory module. Very good. I hope you are enjoying it, by the way. So, I quit art school 5 months ago because my school had a terrible concept art cursus and was treating the students poorly. Now I'm on my own, grinding like hell every single day to get the best level possible. Oh my God. I need to show you that post I made about art school recently. Whoops. Where is it? Oh my God. I love that picture. You got an art school degree, the school director got a new car. Welcome to a lot of art school, unfortunately. I maybe at character design and realistic style product, preferably a little grim, dark, historical. Choose like Don't Not Quantic Dream. Okay. So it's careful not falling into the God of War, Last of Us, super dark, covered in shit type of character. Axel would be able to talk better than me about that, but we've seen so many realistic games recently, released or about to be released. Look at Crimson Desert, look at Ashes of Creation, look at the Kingdom Come Deliverance clone, I forgot the name. Look at the new Fable. A lot of medieval games right now, even Oblivion Remastered. It's just dirty, grimy, generic stuff covered in mud. Medieval is fucking colorful. Look at medieval knights. They were the most peacocky type of characters ever. There was colors in the Middle Age. You want it to be colorful. And again, look at Baldur's Gate. That's the kind of great stuff. You do colorful stuff for medieval fantasy. You can have dark subject, but not only dark, okay? It's the first thing that is very important subject-wise. Terry Roman, seeing all these artists, I realize I don't really do concept art. Perhaps I don't really understand ins and out of the profession. Stick to the Discord, stick to the community, and if you have a bit of money to invest, the preparatory module is going to give you, in my opinion, the clearest definition and actionable tools about how to do the job or a do-it-yourself course. It's certainly better than several years in an art school. Again, it sounds marketing-ish. Let's address the elephant in the room. On the 12th of February, I'm making a presentation for people just like you, Lux, for example, or Terry, or most of the people that I'm reviewing right now. Want to do concept art, maybe you are a self-taught artist, a graduate student, you are still a student, you graduated from an art school, you need to complete your stuff. There's going to be a massive presentation that day, and that's pretty much it. And by the way, let me throw the link quickly in the chat, if you allow me to. Sorry for the little... this video is sponsored by The Art Nest. It's a bit like that. But hey, I think that's a fair trade. Funnel, webinar capture. Okay. If you want to be sure to not miss that presentation, I'm just putting the link in the chat. You can register for it. This way you will receive email and some resources from the preparatory module in advance for free. So feel free to join there. And as always, I will not spam you. Sorry for the little sponsoring. It's better than Raid Shadow Legend. So that's the thing. Back to your definition. Don't Not Cantic Dream. Aim bigger. Lion, CDPR, mood. Expand your reach to more colorful stuff, of course. Right now I'm working to fix this thanks to the prep module, but obviously my current portfolio is missing production pages, design process, iteration, and prop design. You have it in the preparatory module, so I don't even have to explain what you have to do. You have it in it, it's explained. I want to implement 3D in my workflow to speed up realism. 3D for character design, I'm not a fan of it. Not for juniors. Because the problem with 3D for character design is that a lot of people try to replace drawing by 3D by having some shitty-ass DAS models and things like that. And the pose feels always stiff and uncanny. It feels lifeless. And you skip the fundamentals and you have to prove the fundamentals. So invest more on drawing and fundamentals. You will invest in 3D later. But what I see right now, I like it. I recognize the Banisher reference right there. Inspired by Banishers by Don't Nod. So ET applied to the mentorship last year. I did not get a spot, but I got the preparatory. I've learned a lot more than what I learned in 5 years as an artist in the industry. Totally recommend. Can I screenshot your message, XAR ET, please, for the promotion of the preparatory module? Would you allow me to screenshot that and share it? By the way, if you're on the Discord and you want to leave a little testimonial, I would greatly appreciate that. But thank you. But yeah, that's the Banisher reference. And I like what I'm seeing. You have the drastically different variations right there. It's not very contrasty. It will deserve to be a bit more readable, I think. But the content, it's great. It's grounded. You have overlaps. Overlay, you have applied the content of the preparatory module. That's great. You have different proposals, different proportions. You are showing, hey, I can give you choice. This is in the right direction right there. You have the turnaround right there. It seems to me like that character is way larger than the final. She looks like a very tall and slender lady right there. And right there, she looks extremely bulky and wide. So it feels like she has been stretched horizontally. Thank you, Tsar. Let me just copy paste that quickly. Thank you so much. Seems to be a gaffe. It's written right there. Here we go. Testimonies. Here we go. Thank you, Tsar. Not sponsored, by the way. Sponsored soon. Those variations in colors, they are great. They are a bit less drastic than those, but that's fine. You are refining the thing. That's about picking the final one, which is this one, and making the thing. So to me, it does the job. What can be improved? It's mostly technique and rendering. It's very brushwork heavy. The photo bashing, you have to tame the level of detail. You sense certain parts that are a bit too photo bashing heavy, because right there, the level of detail is way more dense than the rest, than the face, for example. So you want the level of detail to be really focused on the face. You have it. Gameplay in this, you have it. Third detail, I would say the belt and a bit of that part. That's it. So level of detail, that's good. But rendering-wise, it's really about the material separation. You see how glossy certain parts are right there, where everything right there is very chalky. That's also because of the brushwork you're using. It's very textured. So it's a bit more difficult to have this kind of material information. But that's where you can focus your energy on now. It's really about rendering itself. Honestly, it's very close to mentorship ready. Very close. And I know where you started. I think you have your old work. You came a long way. Like, this was 10 months ago. This is now. This is pretty good. Even right there, the rendering, you know to make things rendering-wise, I tend to like the way you were painting right there. You have a bit more color variation. You have that glossiness, so you know to do it. It's about reverting back a bit to that. But in terms of complexity, that's becoming way better, right? I know she's an NPC. This is more like playable character material. This is good. Yeah, that's fine. You know to do material rendering. Massive improvement in just 10 months. Very good. What you could do in extra, and that character is not the most suited for that. It could be props, abilities, but it's not a playable character. It's an NPC. It would be better for a playable character. Like Finian the Bard, I think, is a bit more playable character-like. I'm going to change the subject eventually, the preparatory module eventually. But I really like that one, that Warlock one. It's very, very cool. This one is nice as a priest NPC. A lot of them could be recycled as other NPCs. Like this one is amazing. This one is amazing. Really heading in a good direction overall. So rendering, material separation, a bit more life in the skin right there. I know this character is a bit albino overall, so that's fine for this one. And detail distribution. Once you have that, it's going to be good. And almost mentorship ready, right? I'm very happy of your improvement logs. I hope you are happy too. This is very good. Next person. There are so many people. I'm lost. I'm so lost. Where were we? Next. Arnav Sharma from India. Arnav, engineering student graduating May 2026, followed the FZD curriculum in the past, not trying to break into environment concept art. Using studios like Ubisoft, making action RPG and adventure game in India, some other outsourcing studios. My last project is grounded Tomb Raider, Uncharted types. For versatility, and I wanted at least one project which caters to everyone. Next project pushes further into fantasy, as per your last feedback. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talked already. Open to any kind of feedback. So, it's crazy how archetypal the work of FZD student is, with the good points and the negative points. And let me explain what. The good points is, of course, they are good at fundamentals. They know 3D. They know they are awakened to call out sheet and generally gameplay. And right there, I like what I'm seeing. Like there's some gameplay. The pathing is not obvious right there. You need to guide the player because everything looks the same. And you know, in Uncharted, you always have this kind of yellow paint or white paint on where you can climb to guide you. That's the kind of stuff I would like to see right there. You remove the arrows, there's no way we can figure it out. You need to have clues for where you can swing with the lasso, etc., and the grappling hook. The mechanism you see doesn't seem to have some red or blue paint on it. And the problem is that it's a ruin. It's not painted. They forgot to put the paint job on the statues and the ornaments, the gold leaves, and etc. And that's what is missing to guide the player. Ruins, it's not just stone and dirt and covered in shit and moss. It was vivid. Look at ancient, like recreation of ancient Egypt, ancient Greece. It was amongst the most colorful architecture you can imagine. And those ones inspired by India, you said? In the desert of Iraq. Oh my God, it's going to be colorful and a gold leaf party. So colorize the things. It's important. With the gold also, you can have some gold leading the way, you know. But I like what I'm seeing. It's very Uncharted inspired. It's a bit too blocky. You will need to have a bit more complex shapes overall. And the problem that I see with, and we got several mentees from FZD. Evan was from FZD. Sachit was from FZD. We got Verolika, and we got someone else, Joseph, for FZD. And it's always the same issues. You are very good at callouts. You know the thing, but we are never seeing iterations. We are rarely seeing any iterations in his sketch. We are really seeing the process. And I want to see those drastically different stuff that I was showing before, like Evan. Let's pick Evan. It's the best case study for you, Arnav. Because he was from FZD. Maybe he was your classmate, actually. I don't know. But great work. But where is the fucking process and where are the fucking sketches? That's my question. I want to see the sketches. Because again, the question, are you matching the studios? For Uncharted Tomb Raider, kinda. Can you design? It does not answer the question right now. Because we are missing those drastic variations. Okay? This is what we are missing. Can you help the 3D team? We have some, the mechanisms, etc. But for environment, you can go so much further. Evan got jobs because of those. Explaining how everything works. Right there. The measurement. This is insane. Again, how everything works. Everything is clear. It's a blueprint right there. See what I mean by helping the 3D team for environment? And it's not just about putting a bunch of gears to move, you know? It can be gameplay. That's what I like from Axel. That's why Axel is the lead mentor now. He's better than me. Gameplay. Fake screenshots. How do you play? You have those a bit. Those things, the climbables. The pathfinding through the place. You are very close already. You're pretty close. But it's about picking things that are more complex now. I know you wanted to aim at Uncharted. Pick things that are more complex. You can make Uncharted, but make it with that crazy level of design. Okay? Temple of Shar, Baldur's Gate. Make an Uncharted with that level of design. We are getting back to the easy versus hard stuff. Ruins, it's easy. Designing something like that, that's hard. That's very hard. Okay? Look at how beautiful this is. So much thought in the architecture, the statue, the way it's being composed, the lighting. That's good design right there. That's why Baldur's Gate won every fucking award. Or the Temple of Lefandre. Look at how beautiful this is. Monastery. This is beautiful design right there. It feels like Uncharted, you know? But the architecture is something new. It's not something we can reference. Okay? Very mentorship ready. Keyframe. Could be polished a bit more, but that's fine. That's okay. It doesn't have to be super duper polished. But right there, I want to see more complexity. I want to see different materials. I want to see different colors. I want the 3D to be broken more because we can still sense the 3D base and this kind of outline thing. You need to make it seamless overall. That character is great. But again, the backpack and all of that, it's well composed, but it's only things from Google Pictures. And that's something I noticed a lot from at least the people from FZD that we got, is that they were able to pick a reference and stick them together, but not design something new out of that. And that's what is going to dissociate this design from something very complex, intricate, that cannot be Googled overall. Make sense? Next person. Sudarshankumar. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Looking for my next gig in feature TV animation and games. I like stylized entertainment in the game. Things that stuck to me: TMNT, Mutant Man, Ponyo, Puss in Boots 2, Dream Studio are Pixar and DreamWorks. Please respect storytelling and creative concept first. I'm missing concept ideas. The working initial ideas out of work, fine, but it doesn't necessarily go that far in terms of fresh, cool ideas. I think with a lot of what I showed before, it's already a bit clearer. I'm not an expert about animation, but the principle is exactly the same. It's pick what they do something compatible with that, showcase you can design intricate stuff. And right there, that machine, to me, it's a bit the easy stuff, cavern machine. Can we go to something a bit more complex? Right there, you already have intricate architecture. I don't know what it is. It's already a bit more intricate. Again, I showed the things like the Temple of Shah, pick like Paris Art Nouveau. Make a project with buildings like this, for example. That's complex stuff. Okay? The Paris from La Belle Époque. That's complex stuff right there. Right now, it's just that we don't really know which place it's from. And we can just pick the picture at face value for two kids crossing the streets. It does not show these complex design things. That little bus is cute, but what are the references from cars behind it? What if, let's say you have to design this kind of spaceship like that based on, let's be very cliche. Let's pick it's so cliche. You pick a Lamborghini. Okay, or do you design a bus or a cartoon inspired by this? It might be a bit too aggressive for kids. Let's pick a Mustang, for example. Or let's pick, I don't know, like a... okay, or do you design a car inspired by this? In a world where everything is based on coffee. Something like that, I don't know. Art Nouveau Lambo, that would be super interesting to do, actually. An Art Nouveau Lamborghini, how would that look while being functional? So it's not just picking that shape and covering with squiggly lines, How would you make it work? And right there, I see a lot of super flowy shapes, That would be a very interesting design exercise, actually. How do you pick two things that have nothing in common and you make it work? Especially for visual development, where this dev, it's a bit of concept art, but it's also defining the style of the movie. You have to go for the stylistic. This thing, it's more like color script. For color script, I have nothing to say. This is great. This works. You know to do it. You are very good at coloring. Like, I saw that. I think you applied to the mentorship, and I was just like, I don't know what to teach you in that domain. It's not my main specialty. If it was environment design for animation, sure, we can talk about that. If it's character design for animation, we can talk about that. But those kind of viz dev that is very broad, I prefer not to take risks. But right, the colors, they are fucking amazing. You know to do it. But yeah, picking complex stuff overall, and then doing what I said before, showcasing from any different angle, offering a lot of just right there. It's some minor variation, some color swaps, some micro detail changes. It's not very drastic. You want to push in as many different shapes and directions as possible before sticking to it. It's going to be important. Alexi François Morand. Bonjour, mon ami. I'm assuming French Canadian, Vancouver, Canada. Mon ami. Where are you? Here we go. Lead marketing artist working in mobile game for 6 years on franchises like Tomb Raider Reloaded, Walking in No Man's Land, and Hitman Sniper. Also done some environment concept art for an outsourcing studio on some big franchise, but currently under NDAs. My aim is to transition fully from marketing art to environment concept art. The studios I'm aiming for are mostly Terraform, Chromatic, OPB. Okay, so we are going to fall a bit into the same things as God of War and such. Be careful about trendy stuff. I love those studios. Stefan Thomas right there in the chat worked at Chromatic, actually, and Terraform, actually. So maybe get in touch together. Based on what I see, this is very good. I really like what I'm seeing right there. 3D callouts, etc. You are one of those exceptions where I don't mind that you work heavily in 3D, but I would like you to still paint a bit on top to break the 3D aspect. I know those are photos right there. That's fine. But even right there, I would like a bit of painting on top. This is very good. Stefan Thomas saying, I love Alexi's work. 100% mentorship ready. Very easy to solve. What is missing? Extensive callout sheet explaining how design work. Breaking the 3D aspects. Showing more variations right there. The problem is that you have the final design. You are showing the callout, but you are not showing you can iterate. Right there, those are some micro changes. Just, okay, I'm picking a bit and I'm making a roof out of that. A bit too simple. Have different shapes, have drastically different proposals, etc. Oh my God, I wish I could share the work of Nikita right now. It's up for validation. Contact me, Alexi, on Discord, and I will send you the work of Nikita once it's approved as an example, because Nikita was in exactly the same situation as you. I think we can show Stefan Thomas' work because he's exactly in the same situation as you. He was, at least. Now it's better. A lot of keyframe, great design, great skills in 3D already. Designing his own asset and not kit bashing stuff. That's also very important for, not for you, Alexi, but for people who are 3D maximalists. Often they do not model the stuff, they kit bash generic stuff. And kit bashing rocks and trees together doesn't make someone a concept artist. I'm sorry. Nope. This is what we did with Stefan. An extensive call-out sheet right there. Very detailed. Lot of variations right there. We have a few keyframes. As I was showcasing in a previous live, if we are starting by that, the inner dialogue of the recruiter would be, oh, another keyframe. We start with this like, oh, interesting. Okay, now you have my attention. Okay, now we have a keyframe. That's fine. It's 3D. It's done fast. I have the context. If we were started with that, it would be, it's a keyframe, but it's very 3D heavy. Can you paint, etc.? And the cynical art director voice would start working again. Now that we have anticipated that objection, now we can show those keyframes that are more loose, faster to do. It's a win-win for everyone. You see, you have crazy variations, crazy design everywhere, iterations, proving that you can give them choice overall. Oh my God, the cat brought me his toy. He wants to play. He wants to play with this. Look at that. Look at this. So yeah, iteration. This is what is missing in your walk. And then if you really want to go further, it's going to be gameplay. And again, I wish I could show Nikita's walk, but I don't want to spoil it. But basically what is needed, I'm going to show you the walk of Axel again. Fake screenshot and opportunities for gameplay, stealth, things like this. What I want to ask is those things, what kind of game are you designing for? And right here, this is just the same scene from different angle. This is not variations. What kind of game are you designing for? Is it a stealth game? Is it a third-person RPG? Is it an FPS? Is it a MOBA? I'm assuming it's something like God of War or The Witcher. Okay. What do you have to do in that place? What is the mission? If you can scenarize the place a bit to have different purpose and objective, that's how you're really going to skyrocket the value of your work. And that's the kind of profile we want so desperately in the mentorship. We would love to work with only people like that. This is so easy to solve. Like Nikita, he joined in October or September. He's sorted out now. Portfolio is done. So yeah, gameplay, variations, not just the same angle, the same thing from a different angle, drastic variations, you know. This is a bit better right there. I like those. This is very marathon inspired. I like it a lot. Yeah, that's nice. That's a bit too clean. I would like a bit of storytelling, a bit of dirt and grime, etc. This is very good. I like it a lot. I don't mind having those callouts and turnaround in 3D if it's done well. Right there, it's done well. Let me show you the work of Nikita, the old work. Nikita Ritson. This one. See, we have those variations. We have the functionality. Explaining the functionality in things work is also something important for you. But right there, we have those variations in 3D. Explaining things work, call out, all those variations. Making your little kit bash asset right there. Kit bash kit, sorry. Explaining how things work, right? Everything has a logic. There's a purpose in that place. See? I really like that bar also. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that is missing in your work. Technique-wise, it's very good. It's very, very good. Oh, very Kantamabi inspired right there. But go for the hard stuff, the hard architecture right there. We have seen this kind of architecture in CDs a lot. Kantamabi created clones, whether you wanted it or not. That's the biggest compliment that can be given to an artist is when you create an army of clones that are admiring your stuff. But radial symmetry, go beyond that. Go beyond that. Right there, everything is done in radial symmetry. It's looking nice, but go beyond the easy stuff, you know. You know to make architecture. You know to make complex stuff. It's just about doing that. Not everything is just radial symmetry. This looks nice. I really like that one, for example. This is so simple, but I love it. Now you have some storytelling and personality on it. This is cool. And you know how to draw. Come on, draw. You know how to do it. Oh, you're trying to bribe me right there. Here we go. I want to see variations for those. Question from Benny Prey. Do we have to write the genre of game in your portfolio? Do you think showcasing your work is enough? Yeah, recruiters, they don't really read what you do, and I like the show, don't tell. So something like this, with those fake screenshots, it already tells the type of game that you are doing. In that case, some sort of Zelda-like. That's fine. That's fine. Nikita right now is working on an immersive sim like Dishonored. I'm going to make a breakdown with him of all of that, with him and Gael, because this is an absolute masterpiece that he has been cooking. So yeah, I mean, there's not even the need to scrap anything right there. You do an extensive project with the right project, the right preparation, the right guidance. If you have time in front of you in 3 months, it's solved. Not an issue. Not an issue. Technique-wise, you have what it takes to be at OPB and Terraform and Chromatic. It's just content-wise, you need to cover more. And I'm pretty sure that Stefan can confirm. And it's what is in the interview that we did that I have to release. There's a difference between the surface level that they are showcasing, which is the flashy picture, and what they do internally, which is also a lot of call-outs, a lot of lot of call-outs, a lot of sketches, a lot of iteration, etc. It can be 3D sketches, it doesn't matter. But they are also looking for that. They are just not showing it that much on their website because for the investor, it's less sexy, you know. But very, very good. DM me, Alexi, please. I'm going to send you a message. Can DM me so I can. Yeah, contact me on Discord, Alexi. Fantastic. You are there. DM me. We can hop into a little call. I'm going to show you the work of Nikita quickly. But this is very good. If you know more people like you who are looking to join the mentorship, get us in touch, please. We love working with people like that, and we want more also for the agency that we are building at the moment. It's easier to place in the agency. Going to the next person. Very interesting profile right there. Martin Sontrusek. I'm sorry, I'm going to call it Martin. Martin. There's also that person, Miroslav. Martin, where are you, Martin? They're working as a graphic designer. Okay. Since middle school. Started heavily painting and wanted to be concept artist, but sadly I did a lot of key art and illustration, not actual design, because through that's actual work of the artist. I started watching FZD in 2022, which opened my eyes and showed me that concept art is really what it is really, and I started loving it even more to help our director and bring more language. I think mostly for AA, AAA, CDPR, Naughty Dog, Ubisoft, Roommate Wars, Weta Workshop. You can add mood, character, etc. Aryan, all the... You are in Czech Republic, so you have access to all of EU. Fantastic. Work on indie project Retropunk. Yeah, sorry, it was cancelled. And punk stuff tends to be difficult to sell in a portfolio, unfortunately. What I see at Phoenix, probably inconsistency in quality of my work. It's decent, I would say. It's not quality of big production. A lot to design, all kind of things. Indie project I can shine. Get it in big production, I will be more specialized. So my passion is mostly for environment. So I need to keep focusing on that in portfolio. Or keep it generous with a few masterpieces. Depends. The studios you are aiming at is going to be mostly specialist. Maybe not 100% specialist, but 70 to 80% specialist. That's it. So based on a lot of feedback I've done already, we'll start seeing the patterns right there. Going for the easy stuff. Last of Us inspired, not very interesting. polish the sketches, like those stickmen is going to be a detriment in your portfolio. I think spend a bit more time. I know you did those fast. That's fine. We want to see the design, drastically different choices that we have shared, like with the work of Gael, etc., or even Nikita that we just showed before right there. It's very blocky. Have a look at the videos from Fengzhu number 109 that I shared in the chat a bit previously. It's a bit blocky. What's the purpose? What's the gameplay of the room? We don't really know. I don't really know what's the purpose. It feels, I don't know if it's a tavern. I don't know if it's a house. The subject is a bit simple also. Like classic medieval, no architectural things in it. Right there, I see we are going for the easy stuff again. I know it sounds painful to hear. Go for a complex architecture. I don't mind Middle Age, but go for Gothic Cathedral. Prague. I mean, you're in Czech Republic, so have a look at the Cathedral of Prague. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever visited. Even the city of Prague is absolutely gorgeous. You have some Art Nouveau in it. Design for medieval Prague. Let's have a look at that. It would be great, I think. But right there, the content is a bit too simplistic. And if it's easy to do, again, law of supply and demand, anti-social, anti-conformist, if everyone can do it, little to no value, you are with a lot of competition, and you are easily replaceable. And today, with the market that is tense and competitive, more than ever, you have to stand out positively. You have to go for the hard stuff. Right there, it's very photobashy. It's what I was saying before, like we can sense the pictures, but we do not see taking back control over the picture to create something new out of that. The arrangement of those pictures creates something quote unquote new, but I want those different references and material to be fused together to create something I have never seen before. And the example is Jess. With this kind of Croatian-inspired stuff right there. This one is my favorite one. I love it so much. I really like that one with the wood. Even the birds, you see? That little bird made of carved wood. That bird with the little hat from Croatia. Croatian babushkas and that little shirt right there. That's a good design. It's simple, but it's a good design. You know? Even the ornaments on the horse, the way the staff, the handle of the knife is carved, the weaving on those things, everything is brand new, you know? The patterns. That's how you fuse references. You people have to go. When I say you, it's not just you in particular, Martin. It's people who relate to that portfolio. You have to go beyond the photo. How to apply for review? It's in the Discord. So join the Discord. There's a section called Public Portfolio Review. Follow the instruction in the pinned channel. And that's it. I got a lot of submissions, so I'm going to do several portfolio review. I'm going to do another one tomorrow. But I have a lot of stuff to review. Discord link is not working. Oh, shit. Shit. Let me copy paste the new one in that case. My bad. It's probably an old one. Here we go. I'm going to edit the video description with the proper link. Don't worry about that, folks. I cannot do it now, but I will do it as soon as the stream is over. But let me share the link to the Discord in the chat. Feel free to join, introduce yourself. And by the way, for everyone who joined recently, our amazing community manager and ambassador, Christina, is likely to contact you to give you, to share with you a few resources, normally from the mentorship and such. And if you want to help her go in the introduce yourself channel and introduce yourself and share your work. This way we know what kind of resources are more relevant to you. That's it. Back to the review. So yeah, going for the hard stuff and the complexity. You see right there, this is costume design. Is just adding one extra stuff. We added the bulletproof jacket, then the pockets, then this, then that. Go for drastic. If you can do drastic stuff, they know you can do minor stuff. You want to go for the complex stuff. I know it's stuff you did for production, so did not have choice. But for the portfolio, you want to over-deliver. Okay? Again, variations, right there. Right there. Right there. Those are some drastic variations. Okay? Same for the object. Variations, explaining how it works. Kind of okay, right there. But more complexity. Go for complex stuff. I do not advise sci-fi or cyberpunk stuff for junior and mid-level portfolio unless you are a mega nerd about hard surface, like you're doing CAD design and things like that. Because first of all, it tends to be senior work. And secondly, besides Cyberpunk 2077, there's no demand for cyberpunk at the moment on the market. And very little demand for sci-fi. So careful about market demand. Okay, folks? Ask yourself, is it in demand at the moment? Not, is it trendy on ArtStation? If it's trendy, it's too late. Remove that. Is it in demand? What are the big sci-fi projects in demand that are also likely to succeed in the future? We have probably the next Cyberpunk, assuming there is one. I can probably speculate there is one because there have been job offers for Cyberpunk franchise. Intergalactic, is it going to succeed? I'm allowing myself to be a bit skeptical given the reception from the trailer. Marathon, is it going to succeed? I think it could. But the hate on the game is insane. Okay, the alpha was not great. They changed the game a lot already. I think Bungie, they are not stupid. How do you check if something is in demand? Benny, can you DM me about that? I will make a presentation about that, you know? I think that's a fantastic subject. Can you DM me, please? It will take 2 hours to explain that question. And rather than explaining it on a theoretical level, I think it's better to demonstrate it. Marathon is dead. I think so, but I think it's redeemable if they listen to the feedback. That's just my 2 cents. You know what will save Bungie? Destiny 3. And removing that fucking seasonal model from Destiny 2. But sorry, I'm getting on a tangent. We can talk about that in that presentation. Send me the DM, Benny, and I will prepare a presentation about that. So yeah, going for the hard stuff, going for what's in demand, not the easy stuff overall. The rest, I'm starting to be a bit faster on the portfolio use because if I show the same example for design, etc., it's going to be redundant. And I assume people will watch the full presentation. I mean, there's education in it. I know we are in the TLDR generation, but there's education in that. So I allow myself to be a bit faster, and I don't think I'm letting you down, folks, because you have seen the things. It's always the same and the same. Clara Voricova. Very hard name to pronounce again. I'm sorry. Where are you, Clara? Here we go. I've been learning on my own with courses for years now, currently finishing a marketing degree in 4 months, and I'm looking to break into the industry as a junior concept artist. I'm hopeful my marketing degree could help me since I understand player, consumer psychology, and audience need. Oh my God. Clara, that's something that I posted that on the LinkedIn post, and I got some shit thrown at me for saying that, but I genuinely believe that most concept artists today will benefit more from a marketing course and a business course than from the next tutorial about art. Understanding market demand is so important. And I'm pretty sure, Clara, that if I repeat myself about the fact that you have to help the 3D team to save them money, it makes sense in terms of why it's in demand, because you are saving money to the studio, you're turning them into profit, and everyone wants to hire someone who's profitable. So I'm glad to see a fellow marketer here. I love marketing. I love talking about that. I'm fascinated about marketing, especially super aggressive direct response one. I think it's fascinating for psychology. You don't have to be that brutish in your art, but understanding market demand and the 5 questions you see on top of my screen right now, these are to fit market demand. Is your demand aligned with the studios you are aiming at? This is what you will call in marketing product market fit. Is there a need for the type of content you are producing? Can you help? Can you offer a lot of choices? It's to give choice, and you want the client to have options. Of course, that's what they are paying you for, and that's the problem you are solving for them. Can you help the 3D team do their job? That's how you can save money and become very profitable. And are you showing gameplay and money-making opportunities? Everyone loves to make money, especially studios right now. So marketing. And I'm happy to see a marketer, because the artness, that's what we say in the mentorship. It's like, haha, you got tricked when you joined the mentorship. Because guess what? It's a marketing course transposed and made accessible to art. And then we are putting it into actionable stuff. But the reason our mentorship works is because it's a business course transposed to artists. Back to you. I'm aiming for AA and AAA realistic environment, mostly inspired in the works of Sony Santa Monica Studios. Since I can't relocate right now, I'm hunting for a remote. Where are you from? Czech Republic. Rather than aiming at Sony Santa Monica directly, aim at outsourcing studios that are working for them. Typically, Character, Mood Visuals, Atom Hawk, Room 8, things like that. These are in Europe, so accessible with your visa, and working for those big American products that are visa incompatible with us European folks. And even in the US, because of the time zones difference, Sony Santa Monica, there's like 8 to 9 hour differences, if I'm not mistaken, with Europe, and Czech Republic, it might be even more. It's going to be difficult to work with them. But outsourcing studios in Europe, way easier. And they are hiring freelancers remotely. I think my portfolio is missing quick iteration and sketches, and I think like my work overall doesn't feel like a video game space, which a player can actually move through or interact with. I would love to see this kind of things and insight more, because that's the kind of stuff that I'm banging my head against to teach to people. I'm getting a lot of fire on LinkedIn for, and this is exactly the thing. And right there, you understand call-out sheets. It's very 3D heavy, of course. I prefer the show don't tell, so all those texts, I prefer that it's obvious. You are showing how does it look, how is it built, how a 3D artist can build it, but not what do you do in the place. The gameplay that I was showing before with Axel, for example. That kind of stuff. That's what is missing. Thinking in terms of gameplay element. How do you gamify the place? What do you have to do in that place? Is it a shop? Is it a living place? I don't know. But the more you can gamify the space, the better it's going to be. And again, showcasing the variations, the early research, and presenting your portfolio in a way that is a making of. Hey guys, this was my subject. This was the restraints I had. They are not going to read that, unfortunately, so they have to understand that with your visuals. This is the directions I tried to explore. This is what worked, what didn't. This is why I sorted out through that and eventually refined my work until I landed on a final result. This way you can understand how I think and how I solve problems. And now that I have the final design, now I'm going to show you that I understand how to help the 3D team. That's the kind of stuff that if you show it, you are good. You are good. Are you in the chat, Clara? Are you looking at the stream right now? Let's continue. Yep. Hello. Perfect. I would like a bit more storytelling. You know, it's a bit empty. Again, we don't know really what is done here. But all that part is great. I mean, it looks nice. It's similar to what I was saying before, going for the hard stuff. Sorry for the burp. This one, I like it. It's a bit harder. But again, market demand. George Orwell's 1984. I love the book. I hate it at the same time because it's very creepy and it's more of a documentary sometimes. But can you make a game out of that? Probably, actually. You could. But what kind of game would that be? I think it will be some sort of immersive sim, a bit like Dishonored or Deus Ex. A lot of platforming like Mirror's Edge. And I want to show... I want you to show those platformings and stealth opportunities, you know. Let me pick an example in Dishonored. Dishonored level design. Street. This is very complex, okay? This is an immersive sim. This is extremely difficult to do. This is probably the hardest kind of things to do. Can we get a good example with enemies? Let's pick this one. Okay, let's pick that one. You see, let's imagine you have to, let's imagine there's this kind of electrical grid right there that we have in Dishonored right there. You'll have a battery, let's say, in right here. You have the battery, the rail oil and the cable right there. Let's imagine there is like a guard that's going to patrol there. Okay. Okay. You have several options. Your mission is to go at the end. You could try to sneak in right here, but then let's assume there are some guards there. They're going to spot you, you know. So you will have to make a distraction and such. Then let's say you want to go there, climb and go here. Maybe you can peek through right here. You're going to see that guard. So either you can choke him, or else you can stealth, blink to the other side or blink to that balcony. Okay. And then maybe even climb and go above the thing and do not have even to deactivate the thing. Or else you can drop, go inside that building, make a distraction, come out, let the guard come come back, and boom, you arrive there, you know? This kind of stuff. Of course, how close do you think my portfolio is close to mentorship ready? I have only one question for you, Clara, to be able to answer that. It will be to see some of your sketches. But the rest is great. The rest is great. DM me if you want, Clara. DM me, send me some of your sketches and drawings. But what I would like to see is just breaking the 3D a bit more. If you have a bit of that, and I'm not asking for something perfect, if you have a bit of that, based on your understanding right there, this is very close to mentorship compatible. So send me a DM on Discord, on Discord. And if it's good, then I will tell you, okay, let's book a call and such. But it's pretty close. When are you graduating, by the way? I think you said it. In 4 months. Okay. Yeah, this will also, perfect. This will allow you to also look up the price at what it is currently. So yeah, let's have a discussion. And within 4 months, you have more than enough things to level up. So you have more than enough time to level up and fix those little things. So let's talk about that. Is it already clear for you, Clara? What I say right there and based off the previous feedback? Just waiting. Yes, thank you so much. I learned so much today. You're welcome. Hello, Jonathan. You're welcome, Clara. Let's discuss on Discord. No problem. Let's move to the next person. There are so many people left, and I just have 1 hour. Oh no, that's fine. Just 3 more, I think. 4. Yeah, 4 more. That's fine. And 5. Okay. 5 more. And then we are done for today. It's going to be probably more than a 3-hour long stream. All right. Little intermission again before pushing further. After 2 hours of giving value. Feel free to join the Discord. Let me copy paste the link. Oops. Hello, Axel. Here we go. So feel free to join the Discord if it's not done yet. Introduce yourself and share your work. This way Christina can contact you and send you some resources that are directly normally from our paid resources. This is a little welcome gift for those who introduce themselves. And on the 12th of February, we are having, link in the description, a workshop where you can register. There is going to be mostly for self-taught artists. For anyone who is basically non-mentorship ready, it's going to be a presentation about what is expected from juniors and mids concept artists today, and how to complete the education that potentially art school failed to teach you. And it's going to lead to the release of the preparatory module. I'm mentioning in advance registering because if you register, first of all, you are making sure that you are not missing the date. It's going to be live on YouTube, but you are not going to miss it. But more importantly, I'm going to send you some extra resources from the preparatory module for free before. This way, you can make up your mind and get some value. Sounds like a fair deal, folks. Sorry for the little marketing intermission, but I have to sustain the finances of the Art Nest. We are a team of 7 people now, and there's a lot of money being expended every month to the team and the resources to make it possible, and also to finance those lives for free. So little exchange of goodwill, if you don't mind. Back to the portfolio. Whoop. So we got Clara. Let's move to I think we got Martin. Yes, we have seen it. Let's pick the next person. I'm so afraid of skipping people. Clara, that's good. Chup. So there was a 3D artist, Romain, applying for portfolio review. I was saying it's for concept art only, unfortunately. I know you are transitioning to concept art. I might review that tomorrow in that case. Pablo Matthews. All right. I'm pretty sure I've seen your work already. I wonder if... yeah, I think you applied to the mentorship. Specialist in character design from Brazil. I'm making my way through the industry for 1 or 2 years, yet didn't get my first full-time job, which is what I'm aiming for. I wonder if there's something missing or I'm aiming at the wrong project to post since they're not commercial enough to attract clients. You might be onto something already. Oh, you are in the chat. Perfect. I got reached out by Globant Manager by November, did some interviews, good result according to them, but still waiting for their answer. If you are waiting for their answer and you got contacted by them in November, reach back to them. That's the first thing. Really do not hesitate to reach back. Even after 2 weeks, you reach back. That's what I say to the mentee all the time. It's very important. I'm pretty sure I've seen your work already. I remember this last year. Not bad. So, again, the 5 angles. My question, and you did not mention that. Yeah, you did. Yeah. See, I can remember the work of people. My first question is, and you did not mention that in the description, what are the kind of studios or projects you are aiming at? That's very important because it's to answer the first criteria. Is your work aligned with the studios you are aiming at? Okay, they are waiting for confirmation. That's a good thing. Reach back to them every 2 weeks. That's fine. So yeah, what are the projects you are aiming at? I see some realistic stuff. I would expect some Metal Gear Solid. I would say some Capcom stuff like Street Fighter. I don't really know. Can you tell me more, please? In the meantime, let's talk a bit about technique. I remember you applied with those, and this was already pretty okay. 3D, and then you walk on top. Yeah, I remember that. I really like where you are going right there. It's starting to be good. The rendering is decent. Yeah, this is pretty nice. Probably working over a 3D base right there, doing it kind of well. CDPR and companies like Blue Globant. Okay, CDPR, so I assume Cyberpunk, potentially The Witcher. Rendering-wise, it's okay. We start to see material separation right there. What I still see is what I was calling the printed spandex effect earlier, which is that the costume right there, they are extremely tight to the body. That jacket, especially with those metallic things, I don't think the body of the lady can bend anymore. It's going to create some rigging issues right there. Same right here. Right there, how does that body bend forward? I think it can't. It's going to be a problem. Same If that guy wants to raise his hand vertically or make an arc like I'm doing right now on my webcam, I think that shoulder pad is going to collide with that thing. So there are some rigging issues, and most of those, not all of those, but most of those, before thinking even about rig, can be alleviated by having a bit more wiggle room and avoiding getting things too close to the body. So that's going to be the first thing. Right there, we talked about detail distribution previously with someone. Focus on the face, it's good. But then right there, it's too busy everywhere. So have a priority on the hands and on a last element around the chest, probably. I really like what I'm seeing right there. This is pretty cool. You're explaining how it works. I was about to say what is missing is variations, but no, you have some VFX. Those are great. This is really, really good right there. This is professional level right there. Can we improve certain things? Sure. Rendering always. Design, what I told you before. It's a bit too tight to the body. It feels like a low poly model with texture that is projected on it rather than pure volumes on it. Looks great. Misses a bit the volumes right there on that gear. Layering, very good. Variations for costume, pretty good. I want to see the drastically different designs I was talking about earlier. The Michael saying those drastically different proposals right there for the same brief. Different ethnicities, different pose, different body shape, different costume, different everything. If you have that, now we are talking. That's probably what is missing the most. I would like to see a fake screenshot to understand which type of game it is designed for and to see that gun in real situation. Because it looks to me it would be for a first-person shooter, but I'm not sure. I'm a bit confused. I would like to see it in the right angle. Dima Goryanov art. I would love to do a podcast with Dima. It would be super interesting. But you see, when he designs a weapon, it's for Destiny, so it's an FPS. He's always keeping that in mind. Because that's how you're going to see the weapon. So you need to have the reload on the left. You need to have everything on the left, okay? You're designing a game for, like, let's say, Marvel Rivals, where you see the right side of the character. The reload is going to be on the right. Can you check the Red Ninja? Yeah, sure. Red Ninja. Yeah, again, it's too tight to the body. I get where you are coming from. It's reminding of the nanosuit from Crysis right there. It's get the anatomy to be bulky. Look at bodybuilders. Those are taking steroids or that are extremely dry. Look at all the muscles protrude. You want the same. This is good. I like it. Not the biggest fan of the pose right there, but that's readable. Oh, yes. Yes. Very good. Very good. See, folks, this is what I mean with fake screenshot. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it sells the idea immediately. I will showcase that way earlier. Like, I will show... I will have a beautiful page with the final design. Maybe zoom on the face and a few propsies like what Un has been doing for those. Like one big page like that, and then immediately the fake screenshot. This way they know which kind of game it's for. This is good as fuck, dude. You have improved so much. I'm so happy for you. That's amazing. Try to have the rendering consistent. I don't like that glow. Remove the glow right there. It blurs out the thing. It's a bit iffy. Keep things sharp. This is good, dude. This is very good. The cyberpunk niche is not the easiest one. So you are playing a bit on hard mode with those. Yeah, I remember that guy. Damn. Yeah, I remember that guy from last time you applied. So let's dive into advanced stuff. What can you add to bring a lot of value? I would say some NPCs, like a lineup of NPCs, a bit like those that we showed before with Michael, for example. Those crewmates. I love that banner. This is so cool. Those crewmates, NPCs like that. Let's have a look at Jess. She has some NPC sketches. Like that guy, for example. You need a very strong identity for NPCs. They have only 1 or 2 lines of dialogue in the game. You need to summarize that by like the guy that is fishing with the seagulls, you know. Working on NPC right now for the cyberpunk project. Oh, perfect. Perfect. All those ones, you see, with a lot of interaction, a lot of flavor. You want a strong emotional reaction, like that dog. I love that dog with the envelope right there. That lady is super charming. You feel she's going to take care of you and to be nice with you, etc. So work on those. I would like to see for guns like reload mechanics and things like that. There was someone who applied to the mentorship and I wish he joins. Ron. What's his name? Ron. Yes, that guy. Ron, if you watch that video, I want you in the mentorship. You're so good. And he's great. He did some skins for Overwatch and such. And I just screamed during the call when I saw that. Yes! This is so fucking good. Oh my god. Yes! Abilities like that also. That will be very good to see for your ninja, your main characters. This is good. This is so good. Again, we have the same pattern all the time. This is a little tick that you have in your design, this kind of square on the chest to hide it. Reveal that. This is good. This is good. So yeah, NPCs, skins, cosmetics, and honestly, especially because you are aiming at outsourcing studios, in addition to CDPR, I will not be a one-trick pony cyberpunk. I will move to another subject. I did not say to dump everything you have done, just to complement it. And I will start to sort out some stuff like those older PCs. Right there, I will remove them probably. I love that doggo. I don't want you to remove it, but you probably should. I love that doggo. It's so cute. But you can keep everything starting from there. It's great. This is cool. But yeah, go on... I wish I could show the Walk of Estelle with our vampires. Go on something a bit different, like a Napoleonian era, something pre-industrial revolution. I'm not telling you fantasy, but pre-industrial revolution overall. It would be great to complement what you already have, because in an outsourcing studio, you will change project a lot. And you have to show you are not a one-trick urban technology pony, you know? That will be the thing I will do. This, a bit of gameplay, abilities without mechanics, skins and cosmetics, especially for weapons and costumes. Dude, I don't know how aggressively you apply, but with that you can find jobs already. I don't have much more to say. It's very, very good. Very good. Clapping emoji. Congratulations. Next person, Juan Castro. Whoop. Juan Castro. Where is it? Here we go. I've been a concept artist for about 3 years. I consider small projects and a few large ones. I worked on games like Conan Exiles, Age of War, very good. Ark Survival Evolved, very good. Another smaller unannounced project at Effecto Studio. Primarily as a prop and environment artist, I've been struggling with unemployment for a while now. What I do get some freelance work. I haven't been able to fully break into the industry. I think my weakness is that I don't have yet a clear style in my portfolio. I mostly have realistic work, but due to the projects I've worked on. I believe I have a good level of design and drawing, though my portfolio might not reflect that. Okay. Are you in the chat, Juan? Let's talk about that. So the first thing, right now, I don't mind, but when you apply to jobs, please do not send a Google Drive. Most studios, for security reasons, they are not even going to click on a Google Drive link because they don't know what they are going to download. And you can hide a virus in a .pdf. So be very careful with that. Send an ArtStation link. They know that. Google Drive, you are absolutely decimating the number of studios just opening your work and giving it a chance. That's the first tip I will give to you. The second thing is that typically that's work that you have done at your job. And that's what I've been saying a lot. I've been making LinkedIn posts about that. And I would love to make a presentation about that too. For professionals, you can hardly rely on the work you do at studios to get jobs. Sometimes you get some jobs thanks to that. You work on a big project, dump something. But we got the case recently with a student called Julie. She worked on a lot of big projects for an outsourcing studio called J Factory. And one of the projects has been greenlit. And what she is allowed to share is like 5% of what she has done across several years. And she was super sad. And she sent me a message like, hey, it's important that we talk about that. And I completely agree. That's why I'm going to edit one of the videos to talk about that. But you can hardly rely on professional work because there's a budget, especially when you work at a small studio, there's a small budget. You have to go fast. You have to cut corners. And eventually you're going to compromise on the quality of certain things. And it's going to make your work that you show in your portfolio not at the best and at the maximum of your abilities. And the problem is that you are shooting yourself in the foot because a portfolio is meant to over-deliver, to show the absolute best of your abilities. That's why in the mentorship, even though it's hard for the mentees, we're spending a ludicrous amount of time on the pieces. And even when some mentees get a bit combative, like, no, I want to release it, we're like, no, it's going to be released when we say it's done. Because it's your only shot at getting noticed, sparking a good impression at the studio, and eventually get hired potentially. So you have to absolutely min-max what you have. And right there, I see a very 3D heavy workflow. But similar to what I said before, this is a bit the easy stuff right there, very industrial hangar-like. Not that many refs. It's very abstract. The cables are a bit abstract. What about sci-fi mixed with Art Deco, for example? Just like in Dishonored. It's not really sci-fi, but more like Prey, sorry. For example, we need artistic references, otherwise it's a bit abstract, it's a bit simple, and you want more complex subjects. Like the virus and a cube, it's not the hardest thing. It was needed at the studio, so I respect that. That's fine. But if you want to really impress the viewers, you will have to go beyond that. So rather, it's like a little bar, very realistic. We don't see... There's a bit this kind of Latin American, I assume, references. But we have to go further. Pick some difficult architecture. Pick some Art Deco. Pick some Art Nouveau. Pick some Belle Époque. Pick some, I don't know, Eastern Europe, Renaissance, ancient Russian architecture. Not the brutalistic stuff, not the dictatorial stuff. Old Russian architecture, like pre-industrial revolution or 20th century. 19th century, sorry. Things like that. That's going to be complex. It's you basically have everything. You know, you have some choices. You have some different design. Oh, I remember this. I think I had seen it. You applied to the mentorship in the past. You have some design, you have some iteration, but everything is simple. It's very blocky. You want some example of crazy chest, and it works in the game, don't get me wrong. But in the portfolio, you are there to over-deliver. Let's show the work of Zane. One chapter and it was sorted out. That's the kind of complex content right there. I know it's stylized. Look at those chests. The standard deviation amongst variations is extremely drastic compared to there. It's a bit the same pattern, it's just a slightly different shape and different ornament. You want to have the broadest, most drastically different changes possible amongst your designs, at least early, to prove you are comfortable pushing an idea and that you are not just orbiting around one thing and that you are prolific in the ways you are providing solutions. For as long as it fits the brief, of course. It's very important. Same writer, go for the hard stuff. I know it was needed in the game. I know Conan Exile, they have a small budget. So I respect what has been done in the game, and the game is actually pretty good. But similar example to what I showed before. Look at the Shah thing, for example. All the architecture in it. I would like to see a chest or something like that. I don't think Shah. Chest. Here we go. Look at that. This one. That statue right there. Those ornaments, those torches that you see nowhere else in the game, you know? Those beautiful statues. Those ornaments. The gameplay right there. That's the kind of stuff you want to think about. Okay? I encourage everyone to go with that anti-social and anti-conformist approach to the job. Clara will be able to talk better than me about that as she studied marketing. But if you want a very good book that explains that, it's the Purple Coal. That book, Purple Cow by Seth Godin, which can be summarized in one sentence. When everyone does one thing, do the opposite. That's how you stand out. Transform your art by being remarkable. people cannot be remarkable by designing easy and grounded / generic stuff. I don't like to use generic because it's very negatively weighted. But I'm lacking vocabulary to have another adjective for now. Go for not complicated, not especially complex. Complexity does not solve everything, but go for unexpected. There's a spectrum to that. If you are too unexpected, you're going to be alien. You don't want that. But pick a cultural influence that is unexpected again. That temple, the temple of Shah in Baldur's Gate, it's a lot of things that are a bit Art Deco. You have a bit of Baroque, tiny bit of Art Nouveau and Elvish influence, and then we swap the colors. Even that thing on top, it's very Middle Eastern oriented, I think. But all those patterns right there on the floor, they are very Art Deco inspired. Okay? Even Art Deco, Art Nouveau, it's, I mean, especially Art Nouveau, it's badly used generally. It's like sprinkle tons of squiggly lines and leaves everywhere. No, it's more complex than that. It's about flow, it's about flowy shapes, it's about elegance, it's about curvatures, it's about femininity. It's about showcasing something that goes back to nature. It's to naturalize something that is man-made. Art Deco is the opposite. It's authority. It's luxury. It's the roaring 30s in the US. That's the kind of stuff like that. And in that context, when you are in a temple worshipping a goddess that is very tyrannical, you want authority. That's why Art Deco makes sense. Okay? Go for the complex stuff, folks. The rest there is design, understanding that you have to provide iteration, callouts. You've been working, so you know what is expected. It's just the content itself. Next, Gabe. Gabe, where are you? I had that one also. I wanted to review this one. Let me review that one because I have it under my eyes, but I'm going to review the three last. Aryan Sharma from India. Feels very FZD-like. I might be wrong. I've been into the concept art industry for the past 3 years now, where my work focuses on weapons in historical environment, which are grounded and filled with culture and narrative. Let me just check the about. Can we have the about? Resume. FZD. I'm pretty sure it's an FZD former student. It looks very much like that. Entangled Studio, Ubisoft, Inviox Studio, Gearbox, Forge Studio, and all sorts of things like Volta, West Studio, Art Vision Studio. Oh my god. That's good. The problem is that I'm facing right now is that I'm not finding the reason why my portfolio is not working for the studio that I'm aiming for, and should consider the fact that this studio offer remote position or not for the role. Looking also building network from the industry veteran, and the people working in the show that I want to join is my weak point. Let me understand which one you are aiming. My goal and focus is towards studios like Entangle, Ubisoft, Inviox. Okay, so I thought you worked there. Okay, but no. Okay, makes sense. Okay, I know what is missing. Oh, you're in the chat. Yep, Gabe, we are reviewing your stuff just after. I see you in the chat. I just had Aryan just under my eyes. I didn't want to forget about his work. I find this problem where I hear people say to apply to as many jobs as you can to increase your chances, but there's the advice as well where people say you should cater your portfolio towards specific studios, which will limit the option. So therefore I can find an answer. Okay. Currently I'm working on a project where I'm following your guidelines on what things to consider when making design fake screenshots on the game and building. I'm grateful. Thank you. First question is, do you have the preparatory module? As you say, you are following my guidelines, but I don't think you need it. So the portfolio right there is a bit bipolar, if I dare say, because you have incredible weapon design. This is beautiful with 3D base, etc. You know to design weapons. It's very reminiscent of the Homelon Foundry type of weapons from Destiny. I like it a lot. I would like to see other weapons than just based on Walkman, like hi-fi audio, okay, go design a gun with those speakers, for example. Those weird things. Those things. Good luck. Or I don't know, like you pick one of those things. Tube amps. Or do you design a gun based off that? Or even a toaster, you know. Johnson Thing is doing that a lot. And it's great to design stuff. Right there, you are starting. They're starting to be like, okay, we understand. Can you design based on other stuff? And right there, this is good. Gun design, this is pretty good. I like it. Pretty good. I want to focus on environment because I think the reason why you are not getting access to those studios is because when you look at, let's say you look at Volta. Volta is one of my favorite studio in terms of design ever, especially what they did on Dragon Age. I know the game is what it is, but oh my fucking god, the concept art are ludicrously good. The shape design is gorgeous. It's how you stylize realism overall. Oh my fucking god. Why does the game writing was so bad? Because the designs were incredible. It was so fucking good. Based on an Iron Maiden right there. Oh my god. It's by I was about to say Zapata, but no. But this is good. And environment-wise, it's the same. There's a hefty amount of stylization. Very close to the Temple of Shao right there. I must say, full disclaimer, I don't like those screen grabs from Blender as concept art. In production, sure, I know there's some studio like OPB, they are doing that and they are known for that and they have artists that are good enough for that. But for the common mortal watching those videos and even a lot of pros, please over-deliver on your portfolio. Over-deliver. This is hard to read. This is what I'm talking about. Go for the hard stuff. Yeah, the art book of Velgard is incredible. So it's one of the most qualitative art book ever released, I think. I wish we had some non-3D stuff for environment. But hey, I'm going to pick someone else. I'm going to pick back at Nikita, for example. Nikita. You want to go for complex stuff. Right there, a lot of things like that, Envil and those tools, they can be kit bashed with Quixel and such. I don't see that much stuff right there that could not be picked as a photos and given to the 3D artist, like, do this. That's it. Reproduce the photo. And that's the problem. You are designing the easy stuff right there. And that's why I say the portfolio is a bit bipolar, is because on one hand, you have crazy good design skills for those weapons. But for environment design, you are not applying the same principle. And that is going to tank your portfolio a lot, actually. Because you are judged on your worst pieces. And design-wise, right there, it's lacking design work. You know how to make callouts. This is very FZD-like. But again, show iteration. Drastically different proposals. Explaining how things work. Explaining gameplay. Things like this. Those different topologies. Beautiful call-out sheet like that with design that is not Googleable or kit bashable. Right there, this is unique. This is unique. These are unique. Everything there that you see, nothing can be kit bashed besides the useless assets like the planks, the bits of coal, right there, the logs. Nobody cares about that. Nobody is going to ask for a concept for that. But that Draconic Forge, that's why you show design skills. Okay? That's the only thing that is missing. The rest is okay. You know how to draw. There's a lot of reliance on 3D also. CAD seems to be your strong suit, so that's good. But make sure you're regaining control over 3D right there. Because we can sense it's 3D, it's a bit stiff. Regain control over it. Okay? Fixable in the mentorship. That's the kind of profile we like to fix. It's pretty easy to fix. All right. Next. Gabe, your turn. Let me find you. Perfect. Hey, my name is Gabe. I'm a concept artist focused on character design. I've been developing portfolios for some times, exploring sketches, photo bashing, and 3D assisted workflow. I'm interested in pushing unique, eerie, stranger concept, but at the moment, I'm aiming for studios like Riot and other with Diablo-like style. I'd really appreciate any feedback on how I could improve. So first of all, Riot Games and Diablo is going to be very difficult to reconcile both of them in the same portfolio. That's the first thing. You will have to pick a side based on what you are the best at, what you like to do, etc. I can sense this kind of hybridation between Riot, Shapes, and Diablo. But is there a market demand for that? Unfortunately, no. So careful about that. Second thing, it's a bit iffy right there. The treatment of it. I think it's been a 3D base. I'm not sure, but that texture is very organic and very random and feels a bit like an AI texture. I don't think it's the case, but just because it feels a bit like that, I will be careful with those things right there. It feels a bit too abstract, and an art director, by just glancing at that, might have the doubt. So I'll be very careful about that one. But I know you are doing a lot of brush work and things like that. And the first thing I notice is that you seem to walk over 3D bases. I think it's the Milan Nikolic course from Learn Squared that you learn from. This kind of organic stuff. Is it possible to be a character designer with 3D? Yes. Is it accessible for juniors? It's a bit more difficult. The problem with working with a lot of 3D bases is that for iteration, it's a bit more difficult. And I like what I'm seeing right there, but it's too abstract for now. I don't really understand what I'm looking at. The first thing will be iterations. And right there, this looks like the Alex Figini, Milan Nikolic type of thing in symmetry. And as I've been showing during that entire review, be very careful about proposing that in symmetry. Let me explain why. Your initial designs, your initial sketches, this is what's going to spark a yes or a no to be pushed further. And for that, you need to spark a very strong emotional reaction to the public. In that case, the reviewer, the art director, the client. The problem with symmetry is that there's no personality. You are in neutral, very idle pose, and there is a use for symmetrical when it's time to help the 3D team. But at the beginning, when you have to spark a strong reaction when seeing your work, you don't want to design in symmetry. You want to design in pose, and that's where having a 3D base is going to fall short because you will have to repose the character all the time and the pose is going to feel stiff. Let me show you an example. Volta, a great example. Something like this, something like that. There's personality in it. You see the face of the guy, the attitude, the gameplay, the selling point is great right there. It's really great. This one is amazing. Very, very good. That helmet is beautiful right there. I love the concept of Dragon Age. NPCs, that's different. They are background character. We don't really care. This is costume design right there. But yeah, design in pose. I showed the example of Un. Let me pick those. See, in the sketches, they are in pose. Pick Jess. Everything is in pose. There's not a single inch of symmetry there besides the back view right there. And besides this kind of idle pose for costume once the design has been validated. Right, Lyra, thank you, Christina. Totally. Lyra. Do they still have that station? Shit. Those right there. Very good. Very good, even for NPCs. This is very good right there. So that's the first thing to fix, in my opinion. 3D cannot compensate for drawing. Drawing is going to be faster in the early stages. It's very important about that. And I like where it's going right there. The shapes, they are nice and such. Yeah. This project, you try to put some interaction. This is better already. When you're doing callouts and such, think in terms of readability, not style. So clean those painterly stuff. Clean it, remove it, make it readable. Simple wins over smart overall. This one is great. The style is great. I really like how you are painting though. Like right there, this is a gorgeous painting. And I like the shapes. I mean, you know to design. That's the point. It's even the costumes, they are great. But the question an art director will have is how much time before arriving there? And is it acceptable for them? That's the only risk I see with 3D. Again, I'm not a 2D maximalist. I do not hate 3D. I like a smart combination of both to get the fastest and most efficient result with both combined. And right there, you seem to have developed a lot of skills regarding 3D. This is fine. But you have to figure out a way to be able to deliver what is expected in a timely manner. And the good news is that Un, for example, albeit being a senior, is working extensively in 3D too. He's been sculpting the characters, he's been posing them and such. Just probably have a tad more experience, of course, because he's been doing that for almost 10 years. But it's to show you it's doable. But you have to regain control over it. Do not try to do everything in 3D, like the clothing and all of that. The detail, it was painted after, you know. So, yeah. Inspired by Thomas Chamberlain-King. Yeah, it kind of reminds of Thomas Chamberlain-King for sure. Especially the brushwork, the vibrancy, the eyes. It's probably inspired a bit by Thomas Chamberlain. And Milan Nikolic also. We can sense the Milan Nikolic tutorial. So, yeah. I want to see those drastically different posing with drastically different body shapes and iteration and faces and haircuts, which we are approaching it right there. If you tell me that you can do that in, let's say, a day, maybe 2, we can be talking, you know. We can be talking and we can make it work. If it's taking a bit more time, in that case, we'll have to figure out where we can cut corners to this kind of 80-20 in your 3D process to have most of what you can squeeze from 3D and then do the rest with photo, painting, etc. Then, as I showed during all the rest of the presentation, gameplay, functionality of things work, etc. And the last thing is market demand. What are the type of studios that are this photo brush you spend like 2 days? Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Good. Pretty good. Nice. Yeah, I don't want to dismiss your process. It's unusual. Some people use that. You look at Lars Soig, you look at Alex Figini, you look at Milan Nikolic. A lot of other people are using that. It's more often reserved for seniors. But something like that with shaders, once you have validated the design, you have a great base, and to paint over it, it's very easy. So that's the good thing. It's going to be a bit more challenging at the beginning to be fast. If you figure out a way, it's great. Mentorship ready. Last thing, yeah, market demand. Diablo. Where are you from? Brazil. They are outsourcing studios for that. I will try to broaden the scope a bit. If you like fantasy, pick Baldur's Gate, The Witcher, Assassin's Creed, Horizon Zero Dawn, For Honor, The Witcher. You can pick Diablo if you want, but broaden your range. You cannot just do monsters and this kind of Milan Nikolic type of creatures. You have to get back to what I was saying before, like the NPCs, heroic characters, player ability, probably slightly more grounded proportions, even though I don't really mind that one. It's cool. Beasts, not just humanoid, but also animals, monsters, things like that. This is cool as fuck. I love the shape, dude. Oh my god. I wish you could talk to Axel. He's probably in the chat. He would matrix you on gameplay and such. The shapes are gorgeous. So fix what I told you. It's not to destroy your process. It's just to make sure your process is anti-fragile. If tomorrow you don't have ZBrush at the studio, what do you do? Let's say for a day, the server is fucked. They don't have license for ZBrush. What do you do? That's the question. but it's very, very good. I like where it goes. It's very painterly. Roll initiative. All right. 2 more person and then I'm heading off. Let me eat quickly a little handful of pretzels. I'm starting to starve. Nom, 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 nom. Here we go. Before doing the final 2, I'm not going to annoy you at the end of the stream with that. So I'm doing the little ad right now before finishing, as I still have your attention. If it's not done yet, join the Discord. If you are interested in, if you are not mentorship ready, if you're still a self-taught beginner, any level before mentorship ready, or that qualified as mentorship ready in that stream, and you want to learn a lot of what is expected from juniors and mids, and you want to get the preparatory module and resources from it, it's on the 12th of February. Register to the link I put in the chat right now. Let me show you the page. Here we go. Just enter your email and you will receive resources from the preparatory module for free, by the way. This way you are sure to watch it. And join the Discord and introduce yourself on the Discord. This way we can contact you one by one. Indulge a bit of patience, please. We're not contacting people in the instant, but we are contacting them, and based on your current situation, we can send you the best resources to help you as a little welcome gift. Anyways, and if you want to join the mentorship, you can DM me on Discord. So check Tim on the Discord. I'm the only person with the white name. Or you have the link to apply at the bottom left of the screen. And like the thing, subscribe to YouTube. There's going to be a lot of things on YouTube getting released pretty soon. I have an interview with a senior concept artist from Mood Visuals. It was one of the best interviews I've ever done. It was fascinating. And I have plenty of videos ready. Interviews of former mentees who crushed it. We're going to do some breakdowns of some mentees' work. We're going to do a lot of resources. I'm going to do a big academic, like thesis video soon. I have several of them. One about negotiation. I have one about my thesis for AI and art in 2026. It's going to be very interesting and not against the grain. I share the same griefs against AI than most artists, but bringing a more marketing and business approach to it, and it's going to reassure more than one person, I think. And I'm going to bake it with data and not just fucking copium. Anyways, let's move to the last 2 people. Diogo Cambrian. First of all, this is gorgeous. Let me check on Discord the person. Diogo Cambrian. Hey, I'm a designer for animation. I've been only doing design for a few years for some 2D features and TV shows. I would like to expand and build my portfolio targeting animation and game studios. For animation, I want to be aiming at SPA Studios and The Line, as well as working on game trailer animations. Okay, because I was about to say a game and movies, it's difficult to coincide both of them in the same portfolio, but if you say game trailer animation, that's okay. I guess I would be happy with junior working in these. I'm sure what is realistic to aim for at my level. Really expanding my project Halo with additional story element props, etc. I read on professional work to get jobs and my portfolio suffered. Yes, another person who's unfortunately realized we cannot rely on professional work to ensure safety. This is good. Let me check the professional stuff. Holy shit, this is so good. Honkai? Damn. Disenchanted? Whoa. We have a pro here. So, oh, you're there. Hello. So, I think with all the reviews that I've given so far, it starts to make sense a bit. Thinking in terms of gameplay, providing them with design. Right there, it's extremely oriented at animation. And this is good, and I think you don't have to prove anything more for background layout, environment line work and such. You have more than enough things. So the good news is that you don't have to ditch that from your portfolio, I think. What is going to be important, and what I really like to see right there, and I'm very happy, is pure environment concept art, explaining how the room is made. And you mentioned some studios that are also working a bit in 3D. So it's not just the shot anymore. They have to build the whole scene. That's exactly what I like to see. Right there, it's still a shot, almost a POV shot. So I'd like to see more of those callouts right there, top down. In addition, floor plans, very good. Those little scenes right there, very good. Similar to what I said before, design-wise, it's okay. You have this kind of classic European medieval stuff. Slight touch of Gothic. I want to see the complex stuff now. Right there, this is better already. This isometric feels a bit like a mobile game, unfortunately. But this is more complex already. Characters, for animation, that's okay. They are a bit complex right there. There's a bit too much volumes and such. It's going to cost a lot of money to animate that in 2D. If it's for 3D animation, that's fine. For games, that's okay. For a game like Palia, something like that. How to complete your portfolio? First of all, going for the complex stuff, as I said to a lot of people. But more importantly, showcasing variety right there, because you just have the final result and you show that. You show a few variety for buildings. They are pretty nice showed this way. This is cool. Even though I prefer the fake perspective of C right there, the rest is okay, it's readable. But those things are a bit simple. Think about how you could design a chandelier a bit more complex. Speaker Resus. Because he designed the chandelier, actually. This is more complex right there. There's a true design intention now. Tells a story with the broken sword of the former knights of the round table, etc. That's the kind of stuff I will try to go to. I'll try to dive into more storytelling, more anecdotes in those places. You see right there, it's clean. It feels a bit like an IKEA catalog room. It's too perfect. Bring some anecdotes. There are some kids and there is a cat trying to grab the chicken, and maybe one of them managed, you see you have a cat, he managed to grab the chicken, or maybe like my little black cat, he grabbed the napkin and got everything to drop, and now we are chasing it because we are angry, and he stole a little piece of mushroom, something like that. And maybe you have some kids drawing on the wall, and just put yourself in that place and imagine yourself, how would that look if a family was cooking there? With a little child, with some older people, different personality, how would that be represented through the environment? Does that make sense? I invite everyone to understand that thing. Look at your desk in your room right now. Is it clean? Is it messy? It's going to tell something about you. I have some bretzels right now. I have a hair trimmer and a puff of hair because my cat is a bit matted and it doesn't like to be brushed or to have the trimmer. So every time he's sleeping nearby, I'm going to grab one and to trim it while he's sleeping so he doesn't realize. I have headphones. I have a cup of tea. I have a cat statue. So you see several cat patterns. You probably start to tell yourself this guy likes cats. You will be right. I have my phone. I have an Apple keyboard, so you can know I'm a Mac user. If you were to see my my desk mat, you will see some astrology related stuff. So this plus some owls, some candles around me. You will tell this yourself that this guy is probably a bit into esoteric aesthetic, etc. And the fact that I have a bunch of bretzel, that I have that disgusting bits of mat right there, some post-its, and stuff tells you that I'm leaving a lot on my desk, you know. It tells some story about me overall. You need to do the same with environment. That's pretty much it for environment. So more complex stuff. You see right there, you just have classic barrel, classic stool. You look, I show you the chandelier. Let's get back to Gal because it's kind of close to what you are doing design-wise. Complex architecture right there. Those forging elements. That desk right there. If you are just to design the desk, it would be boring, but the diorama around it tells a story. There are those bats, one of them got smashed, one of them got killed and it chopped the table. Everything that chopped off the table, the light, the splatter of blood, the dagger, leads to that threatening letter. There's a family portrait and a doll and a threatening letter. So you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to understand that the kid of that person, the blacksmith, probably got abducted by someone. He's crafting some crazy beautiful armors, etc. And if you dive deeper in the environment, you have some garlic, holy water. Like, ooh, that's probably a vampire. Bats, vampire. Holy water, vampire. Garlic, vampire. Or someone broke into. Okay, probably abducted the child. Okay, we have the full story now. That's how you're going to dive deeper into your design overall. So those iterations, those props, try to fit different subjects for animation. You can alternate projects. Try to have a consistent style also, because right there it's a bit wobbly, and right there it's more like Palia. Then right there it's another different aesthetic. It's beautiful. You will have to do some sort of style analysis. But this is great. This is great. And for characters, it's the same, the different design iteration, etc. I showed that, so I think it makes sense. Again, very mentorship ready type of level right there. This is great. One or two extra products and you are sorted out, I think. And there's no need to ditch that much stuff. There's probably a bit of filtering to do here and there to remove certain stuff, but all of that is beautiful. There's a reason you are working already and you have been working on those nice projects. So massive congratulations. This is great. And if you are aiming more at game, as I was saying, think about the gameplay. Right there, it's a place of life. There's not too much gameplay. Design a place for platforming, for example. Let me show you an example of a portfolio we got recently from Jean. Oops. In case, yes. Here we go. Amazing portfolio. Amazing because of all the gameplay elements right there. Little parkour. Everything has been designed towards that scenario. That ship is taking fire. You go from the top. Something collapsed and you have to extinguish the thing to save the ship and to get it to drop underwater and to evacuate the ship. That's the story. Ship is taking fire, go to the crab, leave. And he designed everything you see, your pathways, some platforming IDs right there. You can move those platforms, so you will have to puzzle through it, etc. And the design you see is Middle Eastern influence applied to mechanics, combined with those animals. And all those designs, they are absolutely gorgeous. For very stylized game like Clash of Clans, Brawl Star, etc. There you go. You see, you have the entire level design right there. It was some early sketches right there. So examples of platforms with that little yellow area to know where you can platform. It's what I say, Diogo. It's a lot of premium mobile games like Brawl Star, Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, Fortnite, Sea of Thieves, things like that. I know that Fortnite and Sea of Thieves is not mobile, but it's this kind of stylized. It could also be Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, etc. Etc. So that's the kind of studios we build that portfolio in mind. The really cartoony stylized, not the League of Legends one. Katos, I'm new to the Discord. We were talking about reaching to Christina. Christina is reaching out to you. Wait for Christina to reach out to you. It's a new feature we are implementing. We discussed about that just before the stream with Christina. She's our recently freshly hired community manager and ambassador. Indulge a bit of time, but she's going to contact you, okay? I need to change the message the bot sent to you. It's still the old one. The new message from the bot is going to tell you, hey, introduce yourself so we can assess your level in your situation. Christina is going to contact you and add you. Please accept her. And then we can talk about resources. A sec. So that's pretty much it. Here we go. Makes sense, Diogo? Let's move to the final one. Miroslav Misic. Miroslav. Are you or anyone from the Artnest going to Playgrounds Berlin? I want to go there. I would like to contact them to see if we can have potentially a booth, but I think it's going to be a bit too late. But I'm going to go there. Mostly to both. Let me check. Playground. When is that? Do we have the date? April. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there for sure. I'll be there. No problem. Last person. FZD graduate that has been freelancing for many years. I didn't draw or paint as a kid. I only started drawing later. So there's a lot of catching up to do and still feel like it's not enough. I love to work on environment like rooms and buildings and do storytelling through the object and layouts. Enjoy the sketching and thinking process. I'm a bit tired of the off and on nature of being a freelancer. I love to work with guerrilla games, Kojima Production, IO Interactive, Rebellion, DICE, etc. These are all heavy hitters and I've been working for some of them. Would love to find work for a mid-sized team and join them, something like that, and get deeper connection. My key points are painting, final polish needs to be better. I'm bad at characters, so I avoid them. Don't invest time in 2% project during gigs. Get stuck drawing safe design instead of pushing the limits. Looking to develop my work and perhaps plan a longer project. Okay. Some of our work has been on Medal of Honor VR, Walking Dead, Battlefield 6, very good. Theme park physical activation design. Okay. So, another person where we know that professional work is not potentially reliable to go where you want because there are restrictions. We saw that work recently with Axel and we were like, this is so good. I love that style. I love it. The problem is that the style and the execution is gorgeous. You don't have that much to change in terms of rendering, even for realistic stuff. I love this kind of rendering. But it's a bit simple, you know. It's very isometric. It's grounded, crushed into pieces. So can you keep it in your portfolio? Sure. Those vehicles, they are nice. The stylization is great. But it's not photorealistic. You know, there's so much stuff. Oh my God. If you have realistic stuff, you have the keyframes, but you will have to do the design for those realistic stuff, not just the cinematic shot. We have some right there, and it's kind of good. Oh, you're welcome, Katos. Yeah, similar to what I was saying, we need to go into slightly more complex stuff. Right there, it's military stuff. In the mentorship, it's a bit all no zone when it comes to subject because it's heavily grounded and it's hard to deviate from that. So yeah, a bit difficult. A bit difficult to stand out with that. See the variations, they are not very drastic. It's the same chassis and just a few micro details. And right there, you're showing the final result, which is fine for professional work. This is okay. They know you can do some call-out sheets like that. You have a billion of them, and I wish the mentees had as many as yours, because I know it takes a tremendous amount of time to make. Now, what you have to focus on is complex design. It's really deep design. Right now, it's too grounded, it's too realistic, it's too close to reality, it's too post-apocalyptic and quote-unquote easy stuff. Go for something complex. Go again, Temple of Shar, Temple of Letendre in Baldur's Gate. Go for Kaer Morhen in The Witcher. Complex things that will force you to mix references and not just copy a photo. This is the only stuff you have to do. This, showing choices in your design. No need for a call-out sheet. You have a billion of them. Props, mechanics, and gameplay. Gameplay. So props, so variations like this. Props is like those. Gameplay, let's pick Axel. Cannot wait for Nikita's work to be released. I will have more stuff to show rather than those default example. The gameplay like this, those fake screenshots, climbables. How does it play? Etc. That's as simple as that. I don't have much more to add. I hope it's not disappointing, but you have ticked the hardest box, which is, can you make a call out? Fuck yes, I have a billion of them. Now it's just about pure design. And I don't mind if you do it in 3D and you paint over it. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, Nikita is insane in a very good way. Exactly, Lily. All right. I see a lot of DMs on my Discord right now. That's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that very long 3.5 hours session. I hope you found it valuable. As I said, Discord link. Let me copy paste it one last time. Copy Oops. And the presentation, it's there. It's going to be on the 12th of February, and just after the preparatory module is going to be released. So that's it, folks. I hope you found it valuable. Talk to you soon. Be ready for the podcast with Gabriel. I'm going to release it very soon. And a lot of extra videos. Take care. If you want to join the mentorship, there's the link at the bottom left and under the description. There's a few slots left for March. So let's go. That's it, folks. Take care. Bye.